Morning, everyone. It's good to have everyone here. Our first Tuesday of September voting meeting is upon us, and so I'm going to go ahead and ask the clerk to call roll for us.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Taylor. Here. Wright.
Present.
Fisher.
Here.
Johnson. Culpepper.
Here.
Myers.
Here.
Thornton.
Here.
Hamby.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. I appreciate it. As always, we're going to read the civility pledge provided to us by the Georgia Municipal Association, and that reads that the way we govern ourselves is often as important as the positions we take. Our collective decisions will be better when differing views have had the opportunity to be fully vetted and considered. All people have the right to be treated with respect, courtesy, and openness. We value all input, and we commit to conduct ourselves at all times with civility and courtesy to each other. First formal item of business today is approval of the minutes of meetings of Tuesday, August 5th, and non-voting meetings of Tuesday, August 12th, and Tuesday, August 19th. Do I hear such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Taylor and a second from Commissioner Fisher. All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. I do need a motion to add item number 24, which is the latest of the kind of long sequence of opioid settlements, because we just received final text today. So could I get a motion to add item 24 to the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Wright and a second from Commissioner Taylor. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please same sign. All right, hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, do we have any written communications tonight?
There are none.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, tonight we have several opportunities for public input, and so I want to describe that sequence for everybody. We have an opportunity for public input on the consent agenda. We have an opportunity on each of the two new planning and zoning items. We have an opportunity on old and new business, and then at the conclusion of tonight's meeting, we have an opportunity for public input on any topic that was not on tonight's agenda. Generally speaking, with the slight exception of zoning, that's a 3-minute opportunity per person for public input. You see a light in front of the clerk. It turns green when you begin speaking, turns yellow when you have 30 seconds remaining, and it turns red when your 3 minutes has concluded. And we'll thank you for your time with us tonight. If you do provide public input, please let us know your full name and your place of residence so we can accurately capture that for the record. There are cards on the podium. If you fill one of those out and just drop it in the gray box just across the door from the podium, that will allow us to make sure we do that accurately. So I would first like to ask members of the commission, is there any consent agenda item? Currently, we have consent agenda items 1 through 12 that any member of the body would like to remove for later discussion. Would anyone like to remove any of those consent agenda items? Again, 1 through 12.
Number,
Nope, looks good to me.
Commissioner Johnson.
nope.
Okay. All right. I'll have Attorney Drake read the ordinances associated with the consent agenda items.
Mr. Mayor, if you recall, there's one item we need to amend the agenda to add.
Yeah, we did that a couple moments ago.
Okay, I missed it. Okay, my bad. All right, great. Yes, there are ordinances associated with items number 1, 2, and then 2 ordinances with number 3. Ordinance number 1, ordinance to amend the FY26 operating capital budget for Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, so as to provide grant funding, if awarded from the Fox Theater Grant Program for expenses related to the redesign of the Morton Theater's Proscenium. I may be pronouncing that wrong.
I think you got it.
And for other purposes. Number 2, an ordinance to amend the Transportation Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax 2018 program budget so as to provide additional funding for project number 13, West Broad Area pedestrian improvements and for other purposes. Agenda item number 3, the first ordinance and ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, with respect to the schedule of fees to be adopted annually and for other purposes. And the last ordinance associated with item number 3, ordinance to amend the Transportation Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax and the Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax Program budget so as to provide additional funding for capital projects and for other purposes.
Thanks, Attorney Drake. Now, would any member of the public like to speak to any of those items, items 1 through 12? Is there any public input on any of those items 1 through 12? Just step up to the podium again, provide your name and place of residence.
Good evening. My name is Tim Johnson, and I reside in Normaltown on 545 Sunset Drive. And I am going to speak briefly about agenda item 12. And mainly, I just want to say thank you because it's on the consent agenda. And so that is the Community Energy Fund franchise fee allocation. In May of 2019, the Mayor and Commission voted unanimously to adopt a 100% clean and renewable energy resolution. Among other components, you committed to obtain 100% of Unigov energy from clean and renewable energy sources by 2035, for our community to obtain 100% of its electricity from clean and renewable sources by 2035, and for our community to meet all our energy needs from clean and renewable sources by 2050. Thank you for working towards that goal, including committing funding from SPLOST, TSPLOST, and utility franchise fees, and also for your partnership with other communities and advocacy of the Public Service Commission on the State Integrated Resource Plan. We were also helped toward these goals by national policy, especially the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act. Some of those national policies are being rolled back, which makes your commitment even more urgent for our community. This is making a real difference for Athens. It cuts across partisan and ideological lines. Investing in renewables is better for our local economy and for our environment. It's better for business owners and for workers, for children and for old folks. It helps the Unigov, the schools, the university, commercial business, industry, homeowners, renters, everyone. It is an investment that helps us today and will continue to help our community for generations to come. It is truly a win-win-win-win-win for us all. Again, I thank you for your commitment to local implementation of affordable, clean, renewable energy for our community, and for your work and your staff's work to make it happen, including your support for the 4 recommended areas of funding from the Community Energy Fund included in agenda item 12 tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Is there any other member of the public who would like to speak to any of those consent agenda items, again, 1 through 12? Items 1 through 12. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Aaron Jocelyn. I live at 274 North Rock Spring Street. I was anticipating more speakers. It's going to sound kind of like a broken record, but I would like to reiterate much of what Tim just spoke to. And in 2019, the Mayor and Commission of Athens-Clarke County passed the Clean and Renewable Energy Resolution by unanimously. And I would like to express my appreciation and gratitude for the fact that the Athens-Clarke County government passed this visionary, or used its capacity and authority to proactively step into the future with a bold and necessary step towards a safer and more prosperous future. I realize that the composition of the commission has changed a little bit since then, but y'all are the safekeepers of that resolution, and I just wanted to express my gratitude for the continued support of that resolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jocelyn. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak to any consent agenda item? Again, those are items 1 through 12. All right, seeing none, Attorney Drake has read the ordinances, and I'll entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Thornton and a second from Commissioner Myers. All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, we're going to move on to our planning and zoning items. We only have 2 new planning and zoning items tonight. Those are items 13 and 14. There will be public input individually on each one of these, followed by commission motion and discussion. There was an opportunity for folks to sign up for a 10-minute slot for those in favor and opposed to each item. We do have one of those who have signed up for a slot on item 14. So at this point, I just ask anyone who would like to speak to item 13 regarding Macon Highway and Puritan Lane. Now is that time. Is there anyone here to speak to item 13? Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Blake Underwood. I live at 160 Stanton Way in Athens. We spoke at the agenda setting meeting, and I don't want to be too repetitive here, but I just want to reiterate the problems that get resolved through the approval of this rezone tonight. Number one, the abandonment of Puritan Lane. I can't stress enough how good this is for ACC's budget by removing the burden of this substandard road to nowhere. All ACC departments support this abandonment. Connected sidewalks. Right now, the sidewalk ends in front of the distillery. We will be installing a pedestrian crossing across Macon Highway, which increases sidewalk connectivity all the way to Clarke and Oconee County property line at Barber Creek. Adding purpose-built student housing in an already student area. Many of you pointed to the fact this will pull students out of our single-family neighborhoods, which I completely agree. And number four, access to ACC property along with parking for future use, which currently does not have good access. Please keep in mind, we're not rezoning commercial or single-family land to multifamily. We are already zoned RM1 and need the slight increase to RM2 density to make the financials work and see all the positives that I just mentioned become a reality. Thank you for your time, and I hope we will have your support in expanding a community that has been very well received by the community over the last 2 years.
Thank you, Mr. Underwood. Is there anyone else here to speak to item number 13? Evening.
Commissioners, thank you for your time this evening and everything that you do. My name is Jeff Kuhn with Stratus Development Group at 2025 South Millage Avenue. We come tonight to ask for your support in lightly upzoning a property already zoned for multifamily use. The proposed use aligns with both the current and the proposed future land use map and also the predominant use in the area. What is being offered are several community benefits in exchange for the slight increase in density. First off, the activation of a 12-acre park. Currently, the county owns a large parcel. It has no access and no parking. We're agreeing to both allow access and provide parking for this 12-acre park. This could be a game changer for the area, as the closest city park is 1.5 miles away. If you want an additional city park in town, we ask for your support. Secondly, more quality housing. The first phase was a resounding success, and we are one of the highest rated communities in town. As reported in the flagpole a few weeks ago, the housing crisis is certainly not over. If you want additional quality housing units in town, we ask for your support. Preservation of homes. We've agreed to work with the city to relocate the existing homes on the property for additional affordable housing. If you want even more affordable units in town, we ask for your support. And cost savings. As part of the proposal, we are offering to take over the maintenance of Puritan Lane, thus saving the county hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. If you're looking to save the county money that could be redeployed into other areas of more importance, we ask for your support. In summary, we believe the project will fit in with the area, aligns with county goals, and provides a way for us to work together for additional community benefits. We humbly ask for your consideration and support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coons. Is there anyone else here to speak to item number 13, which is Macon Highway and Puritan Lane?
Good evening. My name is Frank Pittman. I live at 1400 Saxon Road in Watkinsville. I'm the civil engineer working with the owners on this property and did the site plan that you guys have seen. I just wanted to quickly mention this, and I think I mentioned this before, that we are proposing this as a planned development, even though that we're only asking for one waiver. Otherwise, we're meeting everything in the zoning code as is. The only waiver is for conserved tree canopy, which we could have asked for administratively through staff, but we did a PD because we wanted you guys to know exactly what they're going to build instead of asking for a straight rezone. There was some conversation about the tree canopy. The code requires a conserved canopy of 25%. We're asking for a waiver to provide 17% conserved. We are proposing to plant back to have a total canopy of 60%, which is a 20% increase over the required 50%. I know Commissioner Davenport had concerns about planting trees last time, so we are proposing 20% higher than even what is required. This is one of the few areas in town where we've got some really good sewer capacity, and to provide housing in this area would be a good use of that as well. So again, we're here for any questions and ask for y'all's support tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pittman. Is there anyone else here to speak to item number 13? Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Flowers. I live at 1500 Morton Road in Athens. And I don't think there's anything that I can say that hasn't already been said, except to say that I am a property owner near this property that's being proposed. These guys have a reputation that precedes them. I'm in total support of what they're doing. They've got a safe place for people to live next door in the development that they've already finished. And if there's anything else that I could say that would be positive, I'd say it, but it's already been said. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Flowers. Is there anyone else here to speak to item 13? All right, this is in District 7, so I'll ask Commissioner Culpepper to place a motion on the floor.
Motion to approve.
Second. All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Culpepper and a second from Commissioner Hamby. Commissioner Culpepper, remarks?
Yes, everything that we discussed at the agenda setting session, this is where students are already there, located there, so we're just slightly increasing the density there versus increasing density in single-family neighborhoods. The infrastructure's there with the sewer. We don't have to do any work on adding capacity. Also, they've offered to work with the county on relocating some of the mill houses to county-owned property to create affordable housing.
Commissioner Hamby, any follow-up? No. Commissioner Wright?
Yeah, I have a question for the motioner and the seconder person. In the report on page 245 of the full packet of, it talked about how staff recommends the following conditions if we're going to approve it. Are you including those 3 conditions with your motion?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Second or the same? Sure. Okay. Commissioner Link?
Yeah, I have a question. Are there clear plans underway to relocate those houses? From what I understand, being on the GOOPS committee that looked at available land and considering a land bank authority, we have very little feasible land that's suitable for housing.
I know staff provided some context for that prospect, and I don't know if Manager Cowell would like to summarize that.
A little bit, so I'll say it's a work in progress, is how I'll describe it. So there's two pathways that we're taking. One is looking at what homes make sense and can be relocated from that property onto a temporary location until a permanent location can be found. That's one path. The other path is actually talking with some of the other providers or some of our partners in the community to see if there is a way in which they can partner in it so we can locate it directly on property that they might have. And that's kind of where we are currently. The building department has gone in and assessed each of the mill houses to determine kind of their current condition. There are a couple that probably may not be able to be moved, but there are certainly a few of them that can be. So that's the path that we're on currently.
Commissioner Thornton?
I definitely support the moving of the mill houses that can be moved. But I do want to be clear, or maybe somebody can clarify for me. The idea of moving the mill houses is not actually contingent upon this rezoning. I mean, if it passes, it passes, but if it doesn't, it's not together in a package. It's not in a proposal that
we are going to move these mill houses if the rezoning
Right,
passes.
there's no condition attached to the
Right.
rezoning, there's no certainty that we'll be able to do so. There's just a certainty that we're working toward that and that the property owner is working with us on that.
Okay, thank you.
So just,
Anyone else? Commissioner Myers?
yeah, just going over there. So what we have is an expressed interest in doing this with Clarke County in discussions and the developer, owner of the property in discussions. And fortunately, I went by and looked at it, and fortunately, I ran into Commissioner Thornton there because the houses on Puritan Lane, I was like, oh, these are really run, they look like they're falling down. And then she was at the other ones, which were in much better condition. So I think there is a need to evaluate what can be moved and what's capable of being moved or
Yeah.
worth being moved.
And that is, so the building department has done that initial assessment, and then they're also talking and getting estimates of what it would cost to move the ones that appear to be able to be moved. So, yeah.
Yeah, having gone through the personal escapade of moving a home one time, I can tell you that spending a lot of money to move a piece of sawdust probably is not an endeavor that we want to enter into, but I think at least based on staff's initial assessment, there are a few homes that definitely would be worthy of moving.
One more.
Commissioner
So
Davenport.
is the 20% tree canopy over, is that binding? Because I can't find it in the application.
I'm seeing a nod from Planning Director Lonnie.
Okay. I love my trees.
All right. Any other input from the body? All right, let me have Attorney Drake read the ordinance for us.
An ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia with respect to rezoning parcels of land totaling approximately 9.49 acres located at 1030, 1040, and 1060 Macon Highway and 100, 104, 110, 120, 140, and 150 Puritan Lane from RM-1 mixed density residential to RM-2 PD mixed density residential plan development and for other purposes.
All right, thank you, Attorney Drake. There's a motion from Commissioner Culpepper and a second from Commissioner Hamby. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
All right, let's do a roll call. I apologize. We'll start with Commissioner Culpepper.
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Thornton,
Yes.
Hamby,
Yes.
Davenport,
Yes.
Link,
No.
Taylor,
No.
Wright,
Yes.
Fisher,
No.
Johnson.
Yes.
Okay, 7 yes, 3 no.
All right, motion carries. Thanks, everybody. All right, we're going to move on to any public input on item 14. We do have a signatory for this 10-minute opportunity, so we'll begin by calling Buck Bacon to the podium, and then we'll follow up with other public input on item number 14.
Mr. Mayor, I can't get on the internet, and I was curious if there was a problem with.
Yeah, I can't either.
I can't get the internet either.
Sorry, I think internet's down in the room.
Whether you make a recording of this, do you know if the
Oh,
recording is
yes,
being made?
the film is working and the YouTube feed is working. Yeah.
Also, the FTP site is working.
All right, Mr. Bacon, 10 minutes is yours. You don't have to use all of it.
I didn't think you would.
Good evening. My name is Buck Bacon. I serve as the Government and Community Services Director at Better Communities Collaborative and W&A Engineering. Our office is located at 355 Oneida Street here in Athens, Georgia. Part of my role at W&A includes managing a team of professional engineers, landscape architects, and surveyors that lead programs and projects for our nonprofit clients like Farm to Neighborhood. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, the East Athens Wellness Experience, and Farm to Neighborhood, and we are asking for your support and approval of the proposed amendment to the existing plan development. The proposed project amends the existing binding site plan to allow for reconfiguration of the existing parking lot, creation of new community garden, new street trees, and new green space. The proposed amendment is consistent with the future land use plan and is also consistent with the policies, goals, and strategies outlined in the 2023 Comprehensive Land Use Plan. In fact, the plan before you is not significantly different than the original 1996 plan development, in that they both envisioned a community garden on the block at the intersection of Vine and Nellie B. I'm certain that your planning director can advise you on the facts that require this amendment. The proposed site plan amendment is binding. In other words, no other development, no housing, no multi-story buildings, nothing can change this plan without the approval of this body. The nature of a planned development offers this body and the community that you serve the assurance to manage how this site is developed now and in the future. Both staff and Planning Commission have recommended approval of the amendment as presented to you tonight. As stated during the agenda setting meeting, W&A did prepare the application for the state local fiscal recovery funds grant on behalf of Farm to Neighborhood and is administering the grant on behalf of Farm to Neighborhood pro bono. W&A has been transparent about our pro bono work for Farm to Neighborhood. In fact, pro bono work for nonprofits to assist them in acquiring grants is common practice for nonprofit organizations. W&A's design and planning services are not pro bono. In fact, W&A's services were competitively acquired by our client, Farm to Neighborhood. W&A is not misrepresenting these facts. W&A and Farm to Neighborhood are happy to discuss this process in more detail with members of the community outside of this hearing. Let me assure this commission and the public that there is nothing nefarious, no backroom deals, nothing hidden, and that the applicant and W&A has made every effort to accurately and professionally represent the facts of this project. The goals of this project are simple. To build a community garden, green space, and teaching kitchen amidst an underserved part of our community, consistent with the intent of the awarded grant. I want to underscore the work that Farm to Neighborhood has done throughout our community and the great opportunity that is before you tonight. I'm proud of Rashi. I'm proud of her team. I'm proud of her leadership in our community and her support of developing healthy food opportunities within our community. Respectfully, we're asking that you support and approve the proposed amendment as shown. If you don't feel like you can approve this amendment tonight, we'd ask that you at least give her an opportunity to come before you again and revisit this. Although I'll be honest, I don't think there's any new facts on this issue. So respectfully, I ask for your approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bacon. Any other member of the public, if you'd like to speak to item number 14, go ahead and step up to the podium. And if there are a few folks, you can go ahead and line up. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Alfonso Brown. I'm part of the East Side community, so this would be affecting the area where I live at. The problem I'm having with it is over the past few years, taxes have already just keep going and going up. So putting this development here is gonna raise taxes some more. Just like in my neighborhood of Woodridge where I own a house at, it was a path behind the neighborhood. Now that they've put houses right behind their neighborhood, our neighborhood is being blocked out because I guess they're trying to fix the draining issue because it used to be a creek that ran behind there. For years and years, they talked about doing something with that land. All of a sudden, they did something with it, built some houses. Now we're talking about building up this area, and it seems like if you're trying to say this community needs help, it needs help in other areas too, not just development and raising property taxes. So what my problem with is I would like these people to come to the community and talk to the people in the community, not just plan and not talk to the people in the community, because that's going to affect our taxes where we stay at. And a lot of these people that talking don't even come in this area outside of development. So that's the only thing I ask, that y'all review it, let the people in that community have a chance to review it, because a lot of people in that community don't even know this going on. So that's the only thing I'm asking on. We have a lot of elderly people in that area and with fixed incomes. So raising the property taxes, I don't know if you went through the east side lately, but it don't look the same. Not saying it's good, not saying it's bad, but it definitely don't look the same. So all I'm asking is, if you're gonna develop something, make sure the people that stay in the community gonna benefit from it, and not just more taxes. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Tammy Foote, and I live at 223 Fairview Street. I'm going to read to you Isaiah 54 from the Amplified Bible. It says, "No weapon that is formed against you, which is the inner East Athens and the East Athens, will succeed. And every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you will condemn. This peace, righteousness, security, and triumph over opposition is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and this is their vindication from me, says the Lord." So we okay. In the movie The Color Purple, Celie said, "Until you do right by me, everything that you think about is gonna crumble." Remember that. Let me break that down a little bit more for you. That meant that Miss Celie, inner East Athens and East Athens, was telling Athens-Clarke County government, until you all acknowledge and rectify the harm you have caused us, your entire office and all your plans will fail. This is a powerful expression of our self-empowerment and our rejection of your mistreatment. I want you to be blessed, and I want y'all to do the right thing by our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Foote. Good evening.
My name is Mrs. Essie L. Bell. I'm from 100 Woodridge Circle. I come again, asking all of you to search your heart. God said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. That means anybody can be your neighbor. But when you come in to take advantage of people, that hurt the whole community. So I'm asking y'all again, search your heart. If you care about us, you would stand up for us. That's why we have all of y'all here. Not for somebody to come in to develop around us. We have y'all to speak for us. So I'm asking you again, search your heart. Do you love the East Side? That's all I have to say, and y'all have a great evening.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. Good evening.
Good evening. I greet you all in the name of Jesus. And for 3 years, God told me to pay attention. And I did. And it's made me a better person. It's made my heart grieve for those who are not being treated right or who are being put upon. And I ask you tonight to pay attention to what is going on in our community. We had no input in this. We had nothing to do with it. It's like we got bum rushed, and here we are right here. So I would implore all of you not to allow this to happen to us. As the person said before, we can even go back to the table and see if we can't work this out. But as it stands now, what they are asking for will eventually change the whole landscape of our neighborhood. Because the number 2 PD, you can do anything with it. You can raise, you can move streets, you can do anything. Contrary to what I look up on AI quite a bit, and contrary to what, and it brought Athens-Clarke County up. And for what they're asking for, they don't have to come back. They can build apartments that up to the sky. And if you all are believing that they have to come back to this body, I ask you, you got computers in front of you, got phones in front of you, look it up and ask for Athens, Georgia. Thank you.
Ms. Fambro, make sure you leave your name for the record for the clerk.
I did. I said I'm Willa Fambro, 1053 Spring Valley Road.
Thank you, Ms. Fambro.
Good evening, Mara Zuniga. I'm a proud member of Inner East Athens, been a member for 3 years. This amendment on the surface, by design, appears to be about a bunch of nice things. and the righteous actions by a business person towards a community. If you look at it, it would be ridiculous for any intelligent person to be against it. That's because those strategically fighting this group want to make them seem ignorant, unschooled about their own history and neighborhood, and unwilling to do anything that makes things better for their own neighborhood. Commissioner Taylor said in the last meeting, "Nothing has changed in this area since I was little." She said this would be a change. But I asked myself, will it bring a positive or negative change? Not all changes are good. See, this is not about a community garden, about feeding people, a kitchen, or green space. Because this group is not only a highly educated, well-versed, not only in their neighborhood history, but all of Athens and their country. They're well-informed of local issues and political processes and have been fighting for many years the different strategies that have been tried by different folk, some in public office, to overtake their community. That's the only reason they're still existing. Too many things have been thrown in that area besides money and development that has brought poverty, a poverty level that has been kept in place in order for Athens-Clarke County to qualify for federal grants, grants that have been invested in other communities and only benefit a few. That includes minorities that are used against minorities. One of our greatest detriments is that minorities keep trusting the very same people that say they are helping when in fact they are creating a pathway for their own agenda. So let's get to some truth. Overproduction of student housing without stewardship and oversight is where the money is at. Pushing lower and middle income households out of their areas is the outcome. This is not only happening in East Athens, it's happening all over Athens. Look at 5 Points, where 5 new condos will be completed in October, priced at about $700,000 for 700 square feet. This will do the same. These players create many problems which they already have nice solutions for. In their playbook, they put their hand out with a solution, and then they switch to the other hand and deliver something else. This is called switch and bait. Done over and over, this obviously creates a lack of trust, and that's what we have. And you, those who will justify this with an approval, are asking folk to trust a supposedly well-intentioned amendment from those who have conflicts of interest and that haven't been asked to prove that their community actions have had any positive outcomes.
Thank you, Ms. Zuniga. I
There's a
appreciate your
track
time with us
record of
tonight.
lies and deceit by some people, including some minorities,
Ms. Zuniga, your
claiming to
time has
come to this
expired for this
community
evening.
to help
Appreciate you coming
with an
down.
approval.
Thank you very much. Hope you have a rest of a good night. Hope your child and husband are doing well.
Without oversight and care. That will be the end of this community, and the blood will be on each of your hands. And to the rest of Athens,
Ms. Zuniga, I need to call up anybody else who's here to come with us this evening. Appreciate it.
it's just a pilot program for your community.
Good evening.
Good evening. I am Diane Dunstan, and I am an East Athens resident because I am the trustee and treasurer of East Friendship Baptist Church, located at 480 Arch Street. We are in trouble because I came to you many years ago to say, please don't fall for the bait that the houses will be affordable that will be built in our community. Well, I heard poor people like nice things too. We do. You're pricing us out of our community. We have received property taxes that no low-income family can afford. You come to us and say, we want you to have a community garden and plant some vegetables, and we're going to teach you how to cook them. We're experts in gardening and cooking, so we're good. What I need for you to do is be honest, be fair. We do love our community. We take great pride in it. I have worked for eons to get the government to partner with organizations to do the right thing by Triangle Plaza. You didn't. You told us we can't do this, we can't do that. No, this, that, and the other. Give us a little bit of money and it's thrown away. And then we go and look at the block now. And you're telling me you're going to have a teaching kitchen and a garden there when we have desperate people on the streets. As my pastor said on Sunday, stop drinking the Kool-Aid. The drugs and the cocaine, the promises, the money that you throw at certain people to say, we're going to do this great thing for the poor folks. And then what happens? Well, the community is hurting. We're tired. We're going to keep fighting because we have children and grandchildren who deserve better. And they are going to be in Athens along with your children and grandchildren because they deserve to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dunstan. Anyone else here to speak to item number 14? Good evening.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Isaiah Ellison. I'm my address is 190 Kingswood Drive, Athens, Georgia. I'm the former owner of 585 Vine Street before I sold it to Ms. Rashi Malcolm. And I come before you today in support of Ms. Malcolm's effort to improve the property at 585 Vine Street. 585 Vine Street. Now, all it takes is about 15 minutes to drive through East Athens to see all of the new construction taking place in the area. While many of the homes owned by black families have remained in the same condition pretty much for the last 30 years. One of the reasons being is that black families' income has not kept up with the economic progress taking place in this country, and more particularly in East Athens, where the poverty rate remains among the highest in the nation. And from a business standpoint, other than Ms. Malcolm's restaurant and rental units, the only business that's thriving in the Triangle Plaza right now is the liquor store. I won't go into the reasons why liquor stores thrive in poor, underserved communities, because I think we all know why that is. Pan Am grocery store recently closed because of lack of community support. Now, a lot has been said about 1996 PD, and I think one of the unintended consequences of the 1996 PD is that it locked people into a mindset of perpetual poverty by causing them to think that everything would be okay as long as they stayed the same. Many people thought that as long as we hold on to the progress we had made up to 1996, that everything would be okay. But now it's 2025, and the people in East Athens are still holding on to 1996. While the community in and around East Athens have seen tremendous growth and development in the form of new buildings and new construction all throughout the area. And I understand that's why the community is a little bit upset, because if you ride through there, you see hundreds of houses that has been built throughout East Athens, and none of them are built by black folk, by the way. Another argument I've heard over the years is that Triangle Plaza has been a place for black folk to congregate, hang out, and socialize. But I submit to you that we all know what goes on when people hang out on the block around a liquor store. There are drug sales, drug use, gambling, prostitution, alcoholism, fights. I got videos to prove that. And to deny that these things happen on the Triangle Plaza is ludicrous and shameful. Now, I will agree that everybody needs a safe place to congregate, but there are a number of places that where they can do that, which is at the community center in LB Apartments, the Aaron Hurd Park and Community Center with baseball diamonds, tennis courts, and basketball courts. There are walking trails, parks, and picnic areas on Trail Creek and MLK, and there are a number of churches in the area that can provide a place for meaningful and constructive activities for children and adults alike in a
Thank
safe
you, Mr.
environment.
Allison. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much.
Is there anyone else here to speak to item number 14? Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Shanice Allen, and I live at 130 Meredith Ridge Road. I own property in Inner East Athens, and I am a business owner in East Athens. Let's be clear. I am the president of Inner East Athens Neighborhood Association. So let's be clear. This planned development amendment is not about a garden. It's a cover. In the 1996 PD plans, if they were reviewed carefully, it is plain that a garden was already included nearly 30 years ago. And I think it's Mr. Buck Bacon just telling you today that it's there. These same plans show there is more than enough green space for trees and gathering areas. And if the issue is a parking lot being out of compliance, then simply bring it up to code. None of that requires a PD amendment. So why the push for one? From where we stand, this amendment looks like a backdoor for something much larger. A project that includes a grocery store with student housing stacked on top of it. It's true. That is a major development, not a simple garden improvement. When I said weeks ago that this is not about a garden, that was exactly our concern. What makes this worse is how misleading the process has felt. The planning department and WA Engineering have presented this amendment in ways that, in our view, do not line up with what the documents already show. At times, it has even felt as if WA Engineering suggested that our community is incapable of reading and understanding the future land use map. Let me be clear. We do not deal in rumors or confusion. We deal in documented truths. We have the facts in black and white, and perhaps if WA and the planning department reviewed those same documents with the same care that we did, they would see what is already published. We have taken this fight beyond Athens. We have written the governor and filed a formal complaint with the Office of Planning and Budget in the governor's office. We've done an open record request and have received the documents. We are standing on truth, and we are holding our parties accountable. The Word of God reminds us in The Word of God reminds us in 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 3. But the Lord is faithful, who shall strengthen you and keep you from evil. Excuse me. We claim this promise over our community today. And make no mistake, from our perspective, this amendment presents harm disguised as help. It risks displacement,
Thank you, Dr. Allen.
insurement,
Appreciate
and
you coming down
dismantling
tonight.
of generations of community history. We will not be fooled. We will not be silenced. We will not stand by
Dr.
public
Allen, your
processes
time's
that are
expired.
used
We
for
appreciate your
ways
time with us
that
tonight.
feel deceitful and dangerous of our future. I ask that you deny this PD amendment. If not, please suspend it for 30 days for transparency and truth. Thank you, sir.
Is there anyone else here to speak to item 14? Any last speakers to item 14?
My name is Mildred Lumpkin White. I'm a resident of East Athens. I'm within 400 feet of the block. I received a letter in the mail to attend the initial meeting concerning it. I didn't know why I was going to that meeting because it has not been transparency in our community. And when I got there, it was only 2 other residents, and one of them represented her mom, and another resident wasn't actually within that blockage, but she came on behalf of her son that lives in East Athens. Now, this is my problem with this after finding out all the information and to see what is initially proposed. First of all, when we talk about a garden and a teaching kitchen, it's already a garden over there. I started to take a picture of it. It's overgrown. It's only about room size, and I'm figuring if you're not keeping that up, what are you gonna do with a bigger garden? And then I'm also thinking, teaching someone to cook and to thrive, that's good too. But this is my concern. Once that rezoning, if it's approved, it is going to affect me and other people. Now, this might not be a part of it, but initially, it came up that, I live on the front row of Nellie B, and it came up that they wanted my property in order to build a larger walkway, driveway, well, a bicycling trail that's going to initially benefit the rock quarry, which is going to be a park. And all that's good for the community too. But in doing this, what about our children? What about our elderly people? We're not thinking about the people in the community. And Mr. Ellison, he said he was the former owner, and he approves this. Well, being the former owner, all of this has been going on when he was the former owner. All of this on the block. It is one big mess, and I think rather than addressing a kitchen and a garden, we should be addressing what we're going to do for East Athens to clean up some of this. Because you can build these buildings, you can do all of that, but if you don't solve the problem of the people that's gathering, the underserved, what does it benefit? And I asked Ms. Rashida this question because she approached me after the meeting, said, evidently I've heard false things about her. I don't know her. But
Thank you, Ms.
did leave
Lumpkin
her.
White. I appreciate you coming down tonight. Is there anyone else here to speak to item number 14?
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Walker, and I am from Athens, Georgia. I want to speak on what God approved, and that is truth. And so many lies have been told for 30 years. I went to prison and came out, and I've been out 30 years, thank God. And ever since I got out, I remember when I first got out, they came and got the poor black folks together, talking about, come on, let's come get money because Athens is poor. So we've been used. Y'all been using us to get money. And guess what? God see it all. I don't care what you own. God told me, I just got out the hospital with blood clots in my lung, fell out in my house. But I thank God he had his hands on me. And you better hope he got his hands on you. Because when you start mistreating people, you're going to need him. You're going to need the Lord. Like I said, God told me, he said, fight for your rights. He said, fight. That's the reason why I'm here. And I'm going to read you what he gave me out of Hosea 6. He said, for I desire mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. But they like men have transgressed the covenant. They dealt treacherously against me. Y'all ain't dealt treacherously against us. Y'all don't dealt treacherously against God. And guess what? Yeah, I want all y'all to look at me. Because he gonna deal with everybody. He gonna deal with everybody. And you think folks just getting drunk on the block? Go ahead and tell me at night. The University of Georgia, you can't even get through there. I remember doing Uber. I cried children getting drunk. I cried for them. You go down there sometime, you better be about to run over them. So y'all thinking the black folk getting drunk, they drunk in the wheels over there. They just educated drunks. They educated drunks. So when you start dealing, make sure you deal in truth and love. Because guess what? God ain't through with Athens. He ain't through with Athens. And let me tell you what, that young lady got killed over there at the University of Georgia. Y'all got blood on your hands. Because y'all get treacherous with them folks out there on the ground, sleeping in the rain, while y'all was collecting money for the poor black. I will tell it, because guess what? I ain't scared of no bitch, I ain't scared of no warlock, and I sure ain't scared of the devil.
Thank you, Ms. Walker.
You got to tie like the Lord tied, but he sure tied.
Good evening, Ms. Barber.
My name is Barbara Daniel. I was gonna plan on speaking on something there, but since it's up in the row, up in this place right here, what I don't like for somebody to tell that they gonna teach us how to cook. I've been cooking ever since I was 7 years old. I came from a family that cooks. I can cook whatever I feel like I want to cook. But y'all finna come out and displace some more people? Lexington Heights? Y'all hadn't did anything about Lexington Heights. Now you coming over here on the east side by the block, you know that y'all gonna plan to build some houses, student houses. I already know that. You know why I know that? Because over there in Lexington Heights, they had told us the apartments that in the back of Lexington Heights supposed to be low income apartment. The investor told us that. Told us to come and apply for it. That's the lie they told them. Then when they got built, guess who it was? Student houses. The poor man came back over to Lexington Heights. The ones that been displaced was so pitiful and sad. Had to come and tell us that it was a lie. It was a lie. And that's what's going on now. Another lie. Then you're not seeing these storms. Then y'all got disrespect for one another, but you want us to respect you all. How you gonna want us to respect y'all? Mayor Gert disrespect Commissioner Johnson like she wasn't nothing. But now one of y'all said anything to stop it. Now one of y'all said, Mayor Gert, that's enough. Do you think God pleased with all that? Oh no. Oh no, baby. I've been coming here for 3 years telling y'all he knocking. Baby, he getting closer and closer. But still, don't mistreat the poor, because the poor is one of his favorites. Have you heard of the rich man and the poor man? You know what that stands for, don't you? So I would appreciate y'all to veto this. We don't need this. We need houses for the poor, for the homeless. We need houses for the elders. We need houses for the vet. Everybody that went out and served for us, y'all looking at them like they ain't nothing. But baby, the very one y'all looking at like that, it's gonna be the very one that he gonna have y'all to ask for a glass of water. And what he says, it left it to you what you do when they ask for it.
Thank you, Ms. Daniel.
So please respect one another. Please respect one another in order for you to get respect.
Thank you, Ms. Daniel. Is there anyone else here who's ready to speak to item number 14?
Good evening. My name is Amy Cassane. I live at 526 Highland Avenue in Athens, Georgia. I'm here tonight to ask for your support for the proposed PD amendment, but I do want to take a second and just, I don't want to sound tone deaf. I've been in here, I've been listening to all these, all these speeches and comments, and I just want to say that I'm aware of a lot of changes that have happened in East Athens in the last 20 years, and I know a lot of it has not been good. So I am here just about this amendment, but I do want to acknowledge a lot of the distress and frustration that I hear. I serve as the Corporate Citizenship Coordinator for Better Communities Collaborative and W&A Engineering. And in that role, I administer our company's wellness program, I work on sustainability initiatives, and I provide support to nonprofits as part of W&A's commitment to our local communities. I have been providing in-kind professional support to Farm to Neighborhood since the fall of 2022, when I worked with them to write the application for this grant, and that has resulted in $965,000 from the Office of Planning and Budget. That award was announced in May of 2023, and since that time, I have continued to provide professional in-kind grant management services, such as reporting and reimbursement requests. I believe in the mission of Farm to Neighborhood and the programs that support their mission. And I believe that this project will allow Farm to Neighborhood to increase its efforts to address food insecurity, especially with the elderly, provide wellness education and recreational opportunities to the community, and provide young people with entrepreneurial and culinary skills that enhance their ability to be self-sustaining. Again, I acknowledge a lot of what has been said here tonight, and that these are a lot of topics that need to be discussed and worked on. But I'm here tonight just about this PD amendment. And your approval of this amendment is the first steps towards realizing a lot of the goals that have been mentioned as part of the grant, and I join with Farm to the Neighborhood in asking for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kassane. Is there anyone else here to speak to item number 14 before we move to commission action? Good evening.
Hi. Maisha Coggins. I actually live in Covington, Georgia, 50 Caitlin Court, Covington, Georgia. Good evening, everyone. Hope y'all are doing okay. I serve as the secretary for the board of Farm to Neighborhood, and I really want to thank everyone for the opportunity to share our vision today. I came in a bit late, but I did get to hear some of what everyone was sharing, and I'm truly grateful, and I can definitely resonate with some of the hesitation that people may, have about this project. But, this project is really simple. It's rooted in one idea: just building healthier, stronger, more sustainable neighborhoods by and for the people who are already living here. Farm to Neighborhood has secured a 25-year lease on this land, ensuring long-term sustainability and commitment. With this approval, we will be able to revitalize the space with new sidewalks for safer walking, new trees, a teaching garden, and renovated building that will serve as a hub for food, education, and economic opportunity. The neighborhood has long been a food desert, but this project changes that. Families will may be able to grow and access fresh and local food from the teaching garden. Children and youth will learn about agriculture, nutrition, and culinary skills through a specific program called Healthy Youth. And these skills they can take and further along with their careers. From the teaching garden to the culinary kitchens and food truck training, every element is designed to just prepare young people for economic opportunity. So, this sustainability project can strengthen community economics. Local businesses may see increased customers thanks to improved walkability. We'll hire directly from the community. And by collaborating with other Black-owned, minority-led, and neighborhood businesses, we're making sure resources and opportunities stay right in the community. And this is just not for today. This is definitely a multi-generational effort. Our children and then the children after them will benefit from the safer sidewalks, the new green space, and a vibrant community hub that was intentionally designed to serve them. So this project definitely belongs to the community. The land was sold to Farm to Neighborhood's founder, Rashi, because the previous owner wanted to ensure it stayed in local hands. And we're here to grow with the neighborhood and not move away from it. So every program that we're building within Farm to Neighborhood, the gardening, the culinary training, the farmers market access, the food truck development, has a economic component that will help uplift the community. So this revitalization is definitely community driven. So, I'm very happy to be here. Again, I resonate with what everyone's concerns, and I hope that y'all will support this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Coggins. Is there anyone else here to speak to item 14? Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Tatorius Neal. I'm born and raised in Athens, 1748 East Broad Street. I reside at 101 Head Street for 48 years. Now, do y'all remember special purpose local option sales tax? Remember the weed and seed program? Do y'all remember that? Yes. Oh, okay. It was supposed to help the community out. Supposed to rid, I guess, drugs and plant another seed of goodness. As the old people died, I've seen houses and apartments come that replace our old black people with maybe 30 or 40 Caucasian young students, which is no problem. Don't get me wrong. That's big money. I appreciate that. But when I hear that kids can't go play basketball in the gym that's supposed to be redid and stuff like that because somebody else want to play pickleball or something like that, it makes it hard to believe that somebody that lives here but not from here is going to come here and build something for those kids to actually learn how to cook for themselves instead of eating the Hot Pockets and the little food bank stuff they get on my bus and they trash. I would love that. I would love to see that. I would. And I'd be a part of it if it's gonna go that way. But if it doesn't, I'll be highly upset. And I'm gonna be here. When some of y'all might not be here, I'm gonna be here. And I'm gonna see that it's done right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Melanie Lewis. I live at 130 Cumberland Court in Athens. I'm a board member for Farm to Neighborhood. I want to refocus what the vote is about, the amendment. I know just from speaking to the Inner East Athens Association, there is a huge trust issue, and it's understandable from everything that's happened in the past. But I can only speak for me being on the board, what I've seen our nonprofit do, what I've seen Rashi do, someone who is from Athens, who loves her community. This is not a rezoning, not necessarily that y'all don't know that, just to make it a public comment. This amendment, from my understanding, is solely happening because of the green space, not because of any other things within the proposed plan. It mainly has to do with the green space because it's asphalt and has to come up. So I wouldn't say Farm to Neighborhood is coming from any ill intent, because if it wasn't for that, we would just do what we're trying to do, which is beautify the place. I've heard it's not sustainable. Triangle Plaza is not sustainable, hasn't been sustainable. I feel like this plan will create that and create the space for minority businesses that are already there to grow and bring in new minority businesses. Because regardless of what business you are, it is very hard to do well if the area is not doing well or does not look, put together or cared about. And I'm just keeping it short. I just want to reiterate that this is about really helping the businesses and the community. The teaching garden, not necessarily all about cooking, but really showing people how they can go and create their own sustainability and take it back home. And again, I understand that there's a fear that no one likes change, especially when you see things like gentrification, student housing. That is understood. But coming from a positive place, I would like to see the community at least try to embrace it and let it see if it doesn't go how they want it to go, to still fight how they've been fighting, but to allow some change so that if it is what we're saying it is, they can benefit from it. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis.
Good evening. My name is Janine Delane. I am at 100 Woodstone Drive here in Athens, Georgia. I originally came to Athens in 2013 and immediately got immersed into this community. I currently am a 10-year employee with one of the University of Georgia's health and nutrition programs called SNAP Ed. So I am very in touch with the need of nutrition and health education in limited income family communities. Not only do we work here in Clarke County, but we work and provide resources throughout the state. And if you haven't checked lately, the younger mothers are not preparing fresh, nutritious food for their children and need to get re-educated on all of the things that we're looking to bring through the resources that we are providing. We see obesity is up with the children, diabetes is up with the children. So to come and say that these resources are not needed in our community is a complete farce. Farm to neighborhood cannot get caught in the middle of what has happened in Athens or where people think it's going. We kind of are in the middle here as a business owner space here. Okay, so we've heard a lot about you all are not bringing the garden. You all are not. It's not them. It's us. And I'm really taking it to heart because a lot of this is my ideas that I've helped to realize the gaps that we needed to bring into the community. So I just want to clarify, this is not their ideas of these projects. It is our ideas as Farm to Neighborhood nonprofit organization. Before the grant even came onto the table, we are already planning and trying to get these resources pulled together for the community. The grant just came up over time as a great opportunity for us to build in sustainability to what we are already doing. Okay, so we have to separate the other issues, and I'm not overlooking gentrification at all in any area, but we don't have anything to do with pushing people off of properties. We're only working on the property that is solely owned by Rashi Malcolm. So there is no moving you off there is no moving off of neighborhood homes and all of the things. We can't take responsibility for that. We have to stay focused on what this amendment is about. We appreciate everyone listening to all of our, we've been here weeks and weeks going over the program, so we don't want to drive that into the soil, but we do want to, again, be able to provide better opportunities led by the Black community for the Black community, and that's what we're representing here. We're going to continue to protect that vision, and we appreciate all of your support for the initiatives that we've been bringing forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Delane. All right, we'll move to commission discussion, and yes, come on. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm long-winded, so I did write something short and sweet. Good evening. My name is Rashi Malcolm. I am the owner of 585 Vine Properties and the executive director of Farm to Neighborhood. Farm to Neighborhood is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to increase access to nutritious food by providing fresh, prepackaged, healthy, and affordable meals for limited income adults, families, children, seniors across our community. Our aim is not only to address food insecurity, but also to promote healthier lifestyles, foster community well-being, and ensure that every neighbor has the opportunity to enjoy meals that are both nourishing and affordable. The East Athens Wellness Experience, the community garden and teaching kitchen, was born out of a vision by community members and leaders within East Athens and throughout our community who wanted to provide healthy opportunity to enhance outcomes for disproportionately affected communities. This proposal is simple. We are proposing a community garden, reconfiguration of the existing parking areas, and a teaching kitchen. Nothing more, nothing less. In our entire grant proposal, which I know there are several members in the audience received, we talked about this being an opportunity for economic rollover for healthy youth, for our healthy youth program. This extends those services that we're trying to provide. We're trying to provide soft skills so that these kids can take those soft skills and take them over into other entities. They want to, you know, these kids come to our program, they tell us they want to be chemists, they want to be biologists, they want to be fashion designers. A lot of them don't want to go into food. However, Rashi Malcolm, that's my lane. That's what I know. I know food. And so that's how I'm able to do my part to be able to teach into the community. This proposal is simple. We are proposing, I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to get distracted and I wasn't going to get emotional, but this is emotional because I understand gentrification. Where I grew up doesn't even exist anymore. They're houses. So I get it. I mean, I get it. No one can tell me. I can't go back to my home state in Connecticut and be able to see where I was raised. I'm talking about generationally raised in the projects. So I get it. I do. I understand the frustration. I understand the anger. But I do want to say, and I'm sorry I'm going off script, but I do want to say that just like this commission meeting has been going on for years and years, I still had people ask me what's the address, the time, and the date that they're supposed to be here for this meeting. We try to reach people. We talk to people who talk to us and who come and they take advantage of our programs. They trust their kids to us to be able to come and be taught. You know, we have adult classes. We have a lot of things going on. And I understand everybody says that they don't know anything about it, but we've tried. I'm sorry. Good night.
Thank you, Ms. Malcolm. All right. Commissioner Taylor, this is in District 3, so I want to turn to you for a motion.
Well, I figured since everybody was giving their East Side story, can I tell mine?
If that concludes in a motion.
I figured. So, as to was born and raised in inner East Athens, bused to Winterville. They bused the children from Vine Street, Fairview Street, and Nellie B to Winterville. And I still reside on Fairview as a 36-year-old woman who's raising her children. I too was raised on Fairview Street. Actually, like right behind the Neely's house. So I actually went to Neely on Broad Street preschool. And so all of these issues and concerns that's been brought up tonight are my concerns too. That's the reason why I was elected. Everything that everybody got up on that podium and spoke about in inner East Athens is what I grew up in and what I also am raising my kids in today. I live on Fairview Street. I know what the block looks like. I know what eviction looks like. I know what gentrification looked like. That's why I got elected. So your concerns are my concerns. But I also know before I was elected, before I was sworn in, I got a inside glimpse to what Rashi is trying to do on her property. And me and my children, we volunteered numerous of times in her food bank. We've delivered chili. I've personally delivered chili at Eastwood Court, another apartment complex I grew up in. I went to Gaines School. I was in kindergarten. When we say inner East Athens, to my core. So I know that Rashi isn't trying to harm this community. Her garden is not, I volunteered in her garden, my children too. Rashi is what East Athens is. She just is. And change is inevitable and it's scary and not in our backyard. I feel the same way because me and Andrew gonna work on getting us a grocery store. The reason why I was put here is because I feel the same way y'all feel. And because I motion to approve this motion does not make me less East Side than anybody else.
I've got a motion on the floor. I have a second from Commissioner Wright. Commissioner Wright is seconder. Any further remarks?
I can yield my time if Commissioner Taylor isn't finished.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Mayor. As I look at what we're trying to do here, and I'm going to go back and do a little bit of a history. When I moved here in 1988, one of the first things that we was dealing with was unification. I was a graduate student and started getting involved in what they was talking about, unification, because we have a city government and a county government. And I'm going to get to where I'm going with this. During that time, there were some promises made. There was 2 promises made. Well, let me go back. Unification failed 4 times before it passed. The reason it passed the 5th time, because they got the black community on board. And the reason they got the black community on board, it was 2 promises made. We was going to build economic development in East Athens. We were going to have sewer and water throughout this community. Well, we failed. We failed as a government. We did not hold up to these promises. So now here we are today, and the reason this community don't trust us, because we hadn't lived up to our responsibility as elected officials. Now that happened a long time ago. There's a new commission, but we gotta do better. I said this before. We gotta do better in order for people to trust us to do right by our community. We gotta do that. And we fail to do that. So when we see all this community get up and say they don't want this to plan development in their community, that's why. Because we failed in the past to live up to our responsibility. Now I say all that to say, I'm not gonna support this, but at the same time, we gotta do better as a government. We gotta put trust back into our community and to deliver what we promise on. I will hope that we can do better in inner East Athens. And there are other pockets in our community that we need to do better about, but we have failed. And I can't blame them when they get up and say they don't trust us. I think what Ms. Malcolm is trying to do is great. And I said this in our agenda setting. There's a garden that's there. I don't know why we can't go and repurpose that garden. It's a bigger footprint, provide more vegetables, fruit, or whatever you're gonna plant there. So I'm not sure why we can't do that. Our hope, and I may need to put a motion on the floor, our hope that maybe we can go back to the table, have some meaningful conversation, and see can we get this resolved. Because I hate to see the back and forth that goes on within this community. There are some great people that live there, some people who were born and raised here, and I wasn't born and raised here. But I understand, and I understand about being poor, because I've been there, they lived it. But at the same time, we gotta do better. Give me a little bit more grace,
Commissioner
Mayor.
Fisher, everybody okay with additional time for Commissioner
You got
Fisher?
the grace.
Thank you. But we gotta do better to serve our community. So when things say they don't trust us, they don't want those things done, we need to take that for what it's worth. They're speaking out, they say they don't want it, so that's what we are. So I'll be a no vote, but at the same time, we gotta work with that community, talk with them, ask them what they would like to see, have these meaningful conversations, and let's see can we move inner East Athens forward to the direction that they want to be led in.
Second.
Commissioner Thornton and then Commissioner Myers.
Second.
Commissioner Thornton and then Commissioner Myers.
I second.
I would like to make a substitute motion, Mayor. I think I heard from both sides, they would be interested in having a 30-day conversation. I really thought tonight we were going to hear more of, maybe because I went digging, but I thought tonight we were going to hear more of the objective stuff, but this was more emotional, and I get it. But I am going to, but let me, with my, my request for tabling this for 30 days, I want to be fair. And I'm so glad that Mr. Ellison is here. There's 2 sides of every story, and there's always a backstory. And I know that Mr. Ellison tried to sell that property to some other folk, and they were not able to purchase it. If I'm wrong, correct me, Mr. Ellison.
And Rashid came in here and really did the unthinkable with her vision. And I commend her for that. I support Rashid, always have. I support the East Side. But I remember when Rashid and Mr. Ellison sent me videos of the stuff that was going on that block. I saw the videos, and it made me wonder, well, where the hell are the police who are right there across the street? So there's a lot of problems that are not going to be solved tonight, and I think if we make a decision tonight, we'll be premature, because we need to look at the facts and not the emotions. But gentrification is real, y'all. It is real. And even though no disrespect to anybody on Rashid's team, but I do believe there are devils that work behind the scenes. And at the end of the day, I do not want to be the person that said, when we see a student building and all the luxuries and stuff, I don't want to be my name attached to that. So at this point, I hope somebody will give me a second to put it on the table for 30 days.
So a motion on the floor, substitute motion to hold for 30 days, one cycle is allowed by ordinance. Is there a second?
I second that.
All right, I've got a second from Commissioner Fisher.
Just to make sure, Mayor, that would hold the next meeting, because I think it may be more than 30 days.
Well, it would be for one cycle.
For one cycle.
I read the ordinance, it will.
You know, Mayor, may I make one more comment? I know my time was almost up a moment ago. I think it is important for the information that the Inner East Athens community have found be put on the table next to the information that WA has produced, and be able to look at both sides and see where the discrepancies are and fix it. If there's no discrepancies, then we'll come back and vote the way it votes. But I heard two different pieces of information. How can you make a decision when you're getting different information? So you can't discredit them. Matter of fact, if folk were as in tune as Inner East Athens is reading the small print and connecting the dots, East Athens may not look like it looks now, gentrified. So we thank folk for doing the extra work, but guess what? There's only a little bit left to protect in East Athens. So, and I do want to give credit to Commissioner Taylor, because while we are getting sidetracked with this project, you still have a TAD, 70% TAD, and we need to be making plans. But see, that's how the system works. It does everything in pieces. But you need to look at your TSPLOST, you need to look at your TADs, you need to look at your SPLOST, and you build a picture. You don't do one piece at a time. That's how stuff gets lost. So everybody has come down, but you got a 70%. Y'all are, I don't even know how much money they got in that TAD, Elka. They got a bunch. Y'all can do something instead of meeting. Okay? So let's get together, and where we can work at, let's work at, and where we can't, we'll bid you adieu.
I saw Commissioner Myers and Commissioner Johnson.
Yeah, I will support that hold, but I want to ask some of those questions that you're, like the factual questions here, so that I can clearly understand what I'm voting on. There's a lot of emotion, I acknowledge that, but I do want to ask a couple of specific questions. And one is, and I'll tell you what the three are, and you can, one is, what's the difference between a type 1 and a type 2 request? Why is this a type 1 request? Because that seems to be a accusation that's being made that there's a problem there. The second is, the original PD includes a green space in the area of the proposed garden, so why is an amendment to the PD required? And the third is, does this amendment to the PD change the zoning and residential density allowed or encouraged Right now, this is zone CN with the existing, not the one that was passed 15 years ago, future land use and Main Street business. So what steps and votes would have to happen for increased density to happen on this or adjacent properties? Because I think that needs to be clear to everyone on this side of the rail and in the audience. And so if you have any responses to those, I think it would be helpful for me as I ruminate about this in the month that follows.
Okay. I can begin by answering the last one of that piece. There is nothing in this request that amends the underlying zoning. There is nothing in this request that actually. There's nothing, I don't know if it's on. It's on, but there's nothing in this request that amends the underlying zoning. There's nothing in this request that permits residential development on this property. That would require an additional process to come back through this process. And Bruce can explain what that process is. But so I can answer that piece, at least that one. But Bruce can give more details on it and the other two questions.
Got Planning Director Bruce Loney with us.
Okay, thank you. So the first question was, what is the difference between a type 1 and a type 2 zoning action request? And why is this a type 1? It's actually a type 2. So
why is it a type 2 then?
So why is it a type 2? There we go. So the difference between the two, of a type 1 and a type 2, is actually the duration of the evaluation of the request. Type 1 actions take 120 days of evaluation from the time our department receives the application to the time that this body hears it for a vote. The additional time is necessary for evaluation and to dig through some things. And when it comes to PDs, a new plan development would be a type 1 request. An amendment to a plan development, and I'll talk about the tests that we use to decide if it's a type 1 or a type 2, but an amendment to a plan development typically is a type 2 request. Type 2 request has a timeline of about 60 days. So type 1 has 4 public hearings, a type 2 has 3. So that's the fundamental difference, is timeline and the type of analysis that's going on. When it comes to this request and any other plan development amendment, we have a section of code that allows for those to be heard as a type 2 on the shorter timeline, as long as, and this is a practice that the planning department has had for many, many years, but as long as the following 4 things we can say yes to. The first is the underlying zoning designation not changing. Second, is the previously approved list of uses not changing? Third, no new structures are proposed and no previously required structures are being removed. Fourth, the proposed change does not represent an increase in development intensity, including an intensity increase that requires additional public infrastructure or would have an adverse effect on the surrounding community. So as it relates to this request, the answer was yes to all 4, and so a type 2 procedure was used for the public input and analysis. So there's the answer to that. Second question was, the original PD did in fact have a green space right at the intersection of Nellie B and Vine that was about a quarter of the size of what's proposed in the current amendment. So it was much smaller. The current amendment removes 3 parking spaces. So the commercial viability of this and the fact that we have a binding plan that's making changes of that magnitude was enough to look at those 4 tests. The answer was yes, we could do it as a type 2. The answer was no, we could not do this as an administrative change. The planning director should not take a binding plan and make a change unilaterally when you have a change of this sort. So that's why it came to you as a type 2. And that's why an amendment was necessary. The third question was about residential density. Is that correct?
And what steps and votes would have to happen for increased density to happen on this or adjacent properties? Can anything be, what we decide on in a month, does that affect the kind of increased density that could happen then by right without coming back for approval and public input?
So the plan development has a binding report and a binding plan. So the answer is no. You could not have residential density inside of this PD without it coming through a process for amendment. If that was the suggestion, that 4 criteria test that I rattled off, the answer would be no. to at least one of those criteria, if not two. And in that regard, it would be a type 1 request for it to be amended to include residential density of any sort. A single home is not anticipated with this PD, let alone apartments or any other kind of residential development. So it would have to come back through a process.
Thank you.
I want to recognize Commissioner Johnson before I return to anyone else.
Sorry. Thank you, Mayor. So I want to start by saying thank you for the woman who acknowledged I was not allowed to ask questions. And I want to say I still have those questions. Half of the questions are questions that came to me as I was reading through the document. Half of the questions are from residents with the real name, with the real address in District 6. And also I had conversations with other members in the community that grew up in the community, lived in the community, or have neighbors, have relatives. And so I want to start by saying I support the delay for 30 days. And since I wasn't allowed to ask questions, I wanted to ask Ms. Malcolm if she would be interested in meeting with me, because I think, as Ms. Delane said, you're in the middle, and it feels like that. I think you're in the middle of planning department, rules, policies, and all ways things changing. And then you have a design engineering firm. I just want to understand from you, and if you would be interested and willing to sit down with me and just answer. They were really simple and really basic. I just couldn't get them out. Yes. Thank you. But I do support the delay. That's all.
Anyone else before I return to Commissioner Thorne? Commissioner.
This might be a question that in the 30 days on the table, but I would like Mr. Lonnie to be prepared to discuss the future land use in relationship to Vine Street and possible student housing and a grocery store. So I don't, I'm getting information like from everywhere, but I'm not going to put you on the spot unless you just want to jump up there and say something. But I do want to know if there was some thoughts about student housing and a possible grocery store, because this community has been asking for a grocery store since I've been here, and that's been in the 80s. So, but I'm not going to put you on the spot today, but that's going to be very crucial on how I'm going to move forward.
Commissioner Davenport?
Yeah, so just reading from the email we received today. So regardless of the housing, or this is the zone doesn't change. And the applicant is just only asking for some trees and 3 parking spots to be turned into a garden. It saddens me that, that people are fighting amongst each other. Because if you look at inner East Athens, you see like other people are like literally buying up properties. They're not getting any feedback or pushback as much as another black person who's trying to at least do some good in the community. And it's sad, but she's doing her best. The applicant is doing her best in her own vision. And I wish that we will all sit down together and just talk it out instead of fighting it out, because we're not improving our own personal relationships if we're fighting amongst each other. But according to this, for this rezone, it's a straight rezone. Houses are not allowed. If Rashid decides to sell this property, the new owner will be buying into this exact PD unless it comes back to us. Nothing can be built, no student housing, no townhouses, no homes, just 3 parking spots, some trees, I love my trees, some garden, and whatever communication or activity she has with inside her business, that's her own. She bought that business by right, that property by right is hers. But our decision today is merited only on the application of the pending, not the pending, but the
PD
findings, the PD, not anything else. I just want to make that clear, because if we make other decisions based on other subjects, you know, it opens us up to more interesting things that I don't want to go down.
All right, so the substitute motion on the floor from Commissioner Thornton is to hold for one cycle, so we'll begin our round robin with Commissioner Thornton.
Yes. Hamby?
No. No.
Davenport?
No.
Link? No. Taylor?
No.
Wright?
Nope.
Fisher?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Culpepper?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
5 yes and 5 no.
All right, given the dynamics of kind of our understanding of the strict nature of a PD, I'm going to vote no on holding for 30 days so we can return to the original motion that was provided by Commissioner Taylor, and we'll begin the roundtable there.
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Fisher?
No.
Johnson?
No.
Culpepper?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Thornton?
No.
Hamby?
Yes.
Davenport?
Yes.
Link?
Yes.
7 yes, 3 no.
All right, motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Do you want to take a break now, or do you want to wait till 8:15?
Oh, let's take a break now.
Quarter after's fine with me.
Let's have Attorney Drake read the ordinance. We'll have him do that.
585 Vine Street, 1 through 5 in the CMPD Commercial Neighborhood Plan Development District and for other purposes. I'd vote again, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Everybody who voted with Commissioner Taylor's motion, please say aye. Aye. Everybody who voted against, please say no. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. We'll go ahead and take a 15-minute break. Be back at 8 o'clock. Thank you. Look at old and new business. And so in just a moment, we're going to have public input on items 15 through 24. Once again, rules of public input provide for up to a 3-minute opportunity by every resident on any one of those items. Again, please provide your name and place of residence. And then we have the little card slot. And so if you slide that in there, Ms. Armstrong will accurately capture your name for the record. So, is there any member of the public who would like to speak to any of those old or new business items? Again, items 15 through 24. Good evening, ma'am. Let us know the item to which you're speaking, your name and place of residence.
Sure. All right, item number 17. My name is Emily Alger. I'm the president of the Professional Firefighters of Athens-Clarke County. All right. Good evening, Mayor and Commission. Like I said, I'm president of our Professional Firefighters of Athens-Clarke County. I'd like to provide some important context regarding the proposed relocation of Fire Station 5 and the recent discussion about the Geographic Information System study conducted by the International Association of Firefighters. The IFF GIS study did not take into account that the station must be relocated under the terms of SPLOST 2020. The IFF study was designed using the current locations and added a new station to enhance service delivery. They can only analyze the information that was provided to them, and there are many variables that are constantly changing. Because of that, there has been some misunderstanding about the study. It was never intended to delay or derail the relocation of Fire Station 5. Instead, it was designed as a planning tool to help assess long-term risk and guide decisions for the future as our community grows. What remains clear and urgent is that our current Fire Station 5 is no longer adequate in terms of building itself and the location to provide adequate emergency services. The building is over 50 years old. As Southeast Athens has grown, the current location does not provide proper coverage. It no longer meets the needs of either firefighters or the community we protect. The union's position is simple. Athens-Clarke County needs a new Fire Station 5. What matters most to us is that we need a new station so we can continue providing timely and professional emergency response to Southeast Athens-Clarke County. Our top priority has always been and always will be serving this community and keeping it safe. We stand ready to work with you to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alger. Is there anyone else here to speak to old or new business tonight? Good evening.
This is for number 17. My name is Wendy Kraby, 1822 Dorman Avenue, Atlanta. I am an attorney, a land use attorney, and I am here representing Mrs. Kathy Rodriguez-Feo. She is the owner of 18 acres at 4710 Old Lexington Road. It is, this property is to the west of 4730 Old Lexington Road. This is the property that the county is looking at possibly purchasing. My client has asked that basically really look at this matter and reconsider voting for this for a couple of reasons. One, this property appears to be quite overvalued. The agenda says the negotiated price is $484,000 for 7.52 acres. That's about $64,760 per acre. The property tax assessment for this property is $112,800. If you look at recent 2025 vacant land sales for that area of county, an acre of property it's going for between $9,000 and $30,000. $30,000 is very different from $67,000. In what we've looked at, there seems to be no indication that an actual formal appraisal was done. My client does ask that you do consider the guidelines of the International Association of Firefighters, which says that fire stations should be built near main roads, main intersections, and main highways. This property is located on a 2-lane road. It's not in an intersection. It's surrounded by agricultural land. It's not on sewer. If you look at the old property on Whit Davis Road, this is very much at an intersection. There's a turn lane, there's stop signs. It's much closer in towards the city. So once again, just asking to reconsider this. My client does ask that you deny accepting this option purchase agreement. At the very least, please reconsider the valuation and the circumstances of this property. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Craby.
Thanks.
Mayor Gertz and Commissioners, thank you again for allowing me to speak. I am Kathy Rodriguez-Bayo. I'm a retired school teacher who lives at 4710 Old Lexington Road. My home is directly adjacent to 4730 Old Lexington Road, the site that purchase that you're voting on tonight. The outcome of your final vote is very personal to me. I was 30 years old when we bought the farm and built our home. We raised cows, horses, chickens, emus, bees, and most importantly, 2 wonderful daughters. Our girls grew up appreciating the outdoors, more than most, while being close enough to downtown Athens for the UGA games and all that comes with our great town of Athens. Well, now my grandmother, who has long dreamed of giving my grandchildren the same unique memories my girls had, instilling a similar respect for the land, teaching them to swim, catch fireflies, and count the stars, where there is no light pollution or noise beyond our chirping crickets. I received no notification of the plans for this fire station being built beside me. No mail, no phone call, and no sign. None of the other families adjoining this land were given notice either. One day, we saw the surveyors on the land, and when we asked what they were doing, they told us that the land had been purchased by the county. They didn't actually tell us what for, but because these are our lives and our homes at stake, we kept asking questions and learned that it was not a done deal. Only by calling the county ourselves did we learn that August 19th City Hall meeting, the first to have this land purchase on the agenda. We attended and spoke in opposition. Now here we are, only 2 weeks later, for the final vote. If we had not happened to see the surveyors, this almost certainly would have come to pass without us knowing. In fact, this past week, my daughter and friends and I went door to door in surrounding homes in the community. We found 90% of the residents we spoke to were just like me. They knew nothing about it. Still, they knew nothing about it. Fortunately, we still have a chance to change the outcome of the vote tonight. I'm asking on behalf of myself and surrounding neighbors of Old Lexington Road that you please deny this location and change the radius for the new fire station to a safe, appropriate location that serves the most people now and in the future. Mayor and Commissioners, thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez-Fayette. Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Laura Carter, and I live at 3710 Barnett Shoals Road. I've lived in Athens for all of my 78 years and have been very active in the community. I sent y'all an email explaining my concerns. The whole point of the fire station, besides the fact that the old one is outdated and non-functional for the modern fire safety, is response time. This is the ISO checked this as a problem for us to maintain our #1 ISO rating, which keeps all of our insurance rates lower. So it is very important that we locate this where we'll have the response times that the fire department thinks they can deliver service. They are not in the business of just creating controversy. They're trying to keep us safe. The radius that has been projected is where the station needs to go. I know it's scary. I know it is terrible, but if I lived in an area that currently is underserved, or at least not going to have great response times, I would be very upset that if we don't put the fire station where it needs to go. And I am a little concerned about the price, because that's going to increase the property values of the surrounding property, because y'all base these things on what things get sold for. So I am concerned about that, but I definitely think we've got to do the new station. And everybody was offered, at all these public meetings, people were offered the chance to sell land, because they've always stated nobody wants to do anything with eminent domain. So these people stepped forward, and y'all, people negotiated, and that's where we are. But the fire station needs to be within the radius that they have determined gives the response times to the currently underserved people in Athens-Clarke County.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. Just to your right, other side of the door. There you go. Good evening.
Good evening. Carly Rodriguez-Feo, 4710 Old Lexington Road. The good news tonight is that there's a win-win solution on the table, and it doesn't just include quality of life concerns, agricultural concerns, or money concerns, but it also factors in new emergency response data provided to the public just weeks ago. Commissioner Davenport has entered a CDO that requests shifting the current circle or radius and finding a new and better location for this fire station number 5. This is the winning solution. I have 15 years of security and emergency planning experience, so please hear me when I say that the recent findings in this International Firefighters Association report are helpful and relevant, and they need to be taken into consideration. These statistics are not just a misunderstanding and should be factored in. This report indicates 3 main aspects of fire safety that need to be calculated into a new location, any location. The new factors are call volume, population growth, and hazard levels. A good option is for the circle to be shifted toward Lexington Road, Highway 78, because this would place the station closer to where the majority of calls are actually happening, closer to where the majority of people currently live, where the population is growing, and closer to medium and high hazard zones. These zones include structures like commercial development, schools, grocery stores, and apartments, not single-family homes. These zones require additional resources, so a station placed closer to them would allow for faster response times and more efficient assistance when additional resources are required. A revised circle would take the burden off of Station 7, not add more burden onto that station, which has already seen a 2.8 increase in incident responses over the past year. A properly identified new location or radius would still improve call times and station proximity in an underserved area. It would still protect and improve ISO ratings, which not only take into account the proximity of a home to a fire station, 5 miles are allowed, but ratings also calculate staffing, emergency communications, water supply, and more. By taking the advice of neutral national experts, the county would improve emergency response and public safety for years to come. The report provides interactive maps and charts that prove Old Lexington Road is not where these important data points are located. Old Lexington Road is not the most ideal location. It wasn't even identified in the first round of site selections, and based on growth statistics, it's not a good location for the future. The land under consideration is on a curvy, hilly 2-lane road, on agricultural farmland. UGA's Agricultural Extension Office confirmed that sudden noise and decibel levels from a fire station would harm livestock in close proximity. Adjacent farmland was not calculated as part of the neighbor's dwelling. The horse pasture is less than 100 feet away. The farmland sits downhill in floods, and the pavement footprint would be enormous. You can't replace 50-year-old hardwoods, and you can't mitigate this location in a way that keeps the agricultural integrity. Decision makers should consider all the information, even as it evolves. A holistic resolution looks at the bigger picture and prepares for what is best now and in the future. Our fire department spent a lot of money to obtain this data, and we know our firefighters will make any place work. This means that it's up to you, the decision makers, to provide the best solution. It's up to you to consider all the facts and the public outcry and shift the radius.
Appreciate you coming tonight. Is there anyone else here to speak to either old or new business this evening? Good evening.
Hi.
My name is Susan Mattern. I live at 200 Shenandoah Road. That's off of Double Bridges Road on the edge of the county in southeast Clarke County. My comments are going to be a little boring compared to what we've heard so far, so bear with me. I'm speaking in support of the plans to move Fire Station 5. I never come to these meetings. I've lived in Athens since 1998, and this is my first time. But I felt compelled to speak up as a resident of Southeast Clarke who would benefit from the relocation of the fire station. People out where I live aren't as organized or as outspoken as the residents of the wealthy neighborhood that is mostly objecting to the relocation. I don't have a lawyer with me today. But we pay the same taxes as everybody else in Clarke County. Even though those taxes are high compared to what we would pay just across the border in Oglethorpe County, and getting higher, I have always been proud to contribute to ACC schools and public services. But we get very few of those services in rural Southeast Clarke. In particular, we are a dangerous distance from any professional fire station. When I moved to my home in 2016, I used to live in downtown Athens, it was hard to find home insurance because the distance to a fire station was so far. Serving densely populated areas is important, but so is ensuring that everyone in Clarke County has minimally adequate access to fire and emergency services. Two committees have determined that the proposed new location for Fire Station 5 best balances those two goals and best serves the public good. Please consider our lives and our safety, and please don't make us wait years more for remediation. We have already waited a really long time. Please move the fire station. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mattern. Is there anyone else here to speak to old or new business tonight? It's 15 through 24. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Elizabeth Lutz. I currently reside in Comer, but spent most of my life at Lexington. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak here tonight regarding the relocation of the fire station. I think it's important to know that the area in question is not just wealthy homeowners, but I'm a first-generation college student, and my life growing up, spending time at 4710 Old Lexington Road really played a huge impact in why I'm here today and who I am today as a professional and community member. So I stand here today as a member of the community in strong opposition of the proposed relocation of the fire station. I understand and respect the vital role fire stations play in protecting life and property, but I cannot in good conscience sit quietly to the side on this issue. This plan will deeply and negatively impact the lives, homes, and legacies of families who have built this neighborhood. For me, the issue is not abstract. One of the homes at risk, as we've already mentioned, is 4710 Old Lexington Road, and it shaped who I am today and is at risk. My very first sleepover was at this home. The girls I met that night have remained my lifelong friends and support system, even into midlife and motherhood. Since 2003, this house has been my home away from home, a place where I found love, safety, and support, even when I didn't find it in my own home. My children, My children have celebrated Christmas there. I brought my past boyfriend, who is now my husband, there to see if he cut the mustard. We've all been welcomed as family, even though we share no blood relation. That's the legacy of this house and the home located by the proposed building site. This house and others like it are not just structures. These homes and this land are part of the fabric of the community. They hold generations of memories and connections. What makes Athens-Clarke County strong is its people, its neighborhoods, and its shared history. The rural areas of this county are part of the diversity of the Athens community and should be honored. I would not be who I am today without the love, grounding, and support that came from spending time at this home and using my imagination while spending time on the land. I believe future generations deserve the same sense of peace and belonging I received in my adolescence. Altering the landscape of Old Lexington will dismantle the lives, memories, and futures tied to these homes and properties. I urge you to reconsider this relocation site and choose a path that preserves not only safety, but also the legacy and peace of the community you serve. There are a lot of reasons. There have been ample reasons given tonight to reconsider and think about safety from a more holistic and broad perspective. I'm bringing you the human aspect because that's what I can offer, is my experience.
Thank you,
and
Ms.
I thank
Lutz.
you for your time.
Appreciate it. Good evening.
I'm not near as polished as most of these folks here are, but my name's Perry Bugg. I live at 4350 Old Lexington Road, and I'm strongly opposed to this fire station. And the reason being, a study was done in East Athens, or Athens all over. First, I want to say, I'm not opposed to a new fire station. If we need it, we need it. Nobody's opposed to doing something that's going to create more safety for everybody. You know, everybody's saying, well, I'm opposed, I'm opposed. They're not opposed to a fire station. They're opposed to the location of the fire station. I look on Morton Road, 1.2 miles from this site we're talking about is commercial property. It's on the Highway 78, Morton Road, and goes on into Winterville. 25 acres is for sale. The other corner, 10 acres is for sale. The other corner, 8 acres is for sale. Why wouldn't that site work? Why do you have to go out and take agriculture area when you've already got commercial area that you can get 1.2 miles? If I came to you as a business owner and I said, I want to relocate my business to this site that we're talking about today, there's not one person sitting in here that would vote wanting me to do that. You'd laugh me out of here. Again, I'm all about safety, but this location needs to be moved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bugg. Anyone else here to speak to old or new business?
Don't worry, put the card in there for me.
Good evening.
Hi, my name is James Ward. I live at 4740 Old Lexington Road. I came here last month speaking. Allowed a little bit of emotion get involved, and so this time I came prepared with a speech, so I'll just read off the speech. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, and members of the community. My name is James Ward, and I've had the honor of serving as a paramedic and a member of the fire service for the past 14 years. I come before you tonight not just as a prior public safety professional, but also as someone who deeply cares about this community, our families, our neighborhoods, and those who are called to protect them. I want to start by expressing my strong and unwavering support for our firefighters. Every day they put their lives on the line to protect our property and risk their lives. They deserve every resource and advantage that can give them to do their job safely, quickly, and effectively. That includes placing fire stations where they best serve the community. Recently, a study, and everyone I think has heard about this, before all this was given public, we had the most recent study, not the one that was presented tonight, provided by the IFF, provided updated evidence-based data on an optimal location for our emergency response infrastructure, including fire station number 5. This study looked at call volume, response times, coverage gaps, and access routes, key factors that directly impact whether we reach someone in time during their worst moment. Unfortunately, the property currently being considered for this relocation was not one of those sites identified in the study. While I understand the appeal of using land that is readily available, I urge you to reconsider. Emergency services don't get a second chance. A few minutes, even seconds, can mean the difference between life and death. We owe it to our firefighters and to our citizens to make data-driven decisions, not just convenient ones. Additionally, I feel it is important to mention the financial aspect. The property under consideration is appraised at roughly $115,000. Yet the proposed purchase price is $487,000. That's over 4 times the appraised value. In a time where every taxpayer dollar counts, this raises serious concerns. It's not just about tax dollars and cents. It's about making sure that good stewards of public funds while also ensuring the best emergency response outcomes to our residents. I ask you to revisit the findings of the IFFF and weigh that data heavily in your decision. Let's do this right and for our firefighters. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Is there anyone else here to speak to either old or new business? Again, that's items 15 to 24. Evening.
Hello, I'm Carla Murphy. I live at 130 Green Hills Road, Athens, Georgia. And I didn't write any of these, I'm just the speaker. I'm going to read 2 comments that are from a petition that opposes the 4730 Old Lexington Road Fire Station location. Building the fire station on this proposed property when there is an alternative option with a reduced bill severely undermines and erodes the community trust in its local leaders to look out for them, protect them, and shield them from wrongful or harmful actions, which this proposal does. To be voted into a position of leadership and then use this position to force circumstances to go your way when there is no natural or reasonable fit is shameful and detrimental to everyone. Whether you see it now or not, the ripple effects will do substantial damage to the families who live and have made a livelihood here for many years. I implied you not to be so quick to underestimate the value of such devotion and care to a community. The actions being proposed will by default become the criterion against which all community members will measure future decisions for themselves. The great appreciation is that this feeble measuring stick will embolden this family and their neighbors to raise a collective voice to protect themselves from legislative tyranny. Please do the right and best thing. Be the leaders this family asks you to be. Appropriate funds above board. Consider the larger scale impact of your decision. And above all, do everything with the love you hold for your own aging parents. Thank you for listening to one and many voices. May God be pleased with your final votes on decision day. This is the second one. I hope I have time. Old Lexington Road is agricultural land, and it's a winding road with 40-plus mile-per-hour speeds. Families that live here don't want man-made disturbances, and we want to protect our green spaces and the wildlife and the livestock. Please use our taxpayers' dollars to improve your current location or find a commercially zoned location, as Mr. Buggs still spoke about, nearby, which are for sale close to Old Lexington Road. We respect first responders, and we are thankful for their service. To the city commissioners and the folks wanting to disrupt our community, please respect our way, our quiet way of living. We didn't choose to live next to a fire station, and we don't think it's appropriate for the government to force this on us. Old Lexington Road is not your road. Please find a less disruptive location.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy.
Or improve the location we've already spent our tax dollars on.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else here to speak to any item of old or new business? Again, those are items 15 through 24.
All right. My name's Adam Killgo. Live at 3541 Township Valley Court. I'm here to speak about 159 Marlin. This is not the first time that I've seen all of you, and this is not going to be nearly as emotionally charged as anything that's been going on, which y'all probably could use a break from. So I just wanted to come to you guys and speak on my family, my beautiful wife, beautiful daughter, what we're trying to do with our house. We're literally just trying to make sure that we can afford the house and maintain our process for retirement, to be able to actually move here, to live here. I've had the pleasure of having Commissioner Thornton and Commissioner Davenport over at the house. I feel like a few of you may have had the opportunity to come by and see the place for yourself. I've run into you at Home Depot. You saw me looking a lot rougher than I am right now, but that we've come to be part of this community. We want to be part of this community. We're doing everything that we can to improve not only the street that we're on, the neighborhood that we're a part of, but we're getting to know everyone. Shout out to Brown's Barbershop. If y'all need a good barbershop local, they're a good one. Getting to know everybody here. So we love the place. We hope that you guys can see what we see, and we want to be able to continually improve upon our neighborhood. So thank you. I appreciate it, and we look forward to your vote.
Thank you, Mr. Killgo.
Good evening, Bryce Hix, W&A Engineering, 355 Oneida Street, here to speak about item number 15, this 360 Hawthorne extension. Thank you all for your time and consideration. Since the last meeting, my client and I have met with Commissioner Link to discuss the conditions that are now appended to the rezone request as the commission-defined option. We came out of that meeting with a greater understanding of what her concerns were, and since it turns out we were basically on the same page anyway, we agreed to the conditions that she presented. Those conditions will ensure that resulting development will not be out of scale with the existing development pattern, nor will it negatively impact the neighborhood. And rezoning the property will also crucially remove a section of commercial general zoning from an area where it has no business of being. This is a good project, and I'm hoping for your approval tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Higgs. Any other speakers to any item of old or new business? Again, items 15 through 24. All right. Seeing none, we'll come to commission discussion. And as we start, I notice item 15 has an ordinance attached to it, so I'll ask Attorney Drake to read that ordinance for number 15.
An ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia with respect to rezoning one parcel of land comprising approximately 0.9 acres located at 360 Hawthorne Extension from CG Commercial General to RM-2 Mixed Density Residential and for other purposes.
Thanks, Attorney Drake. And Commissioner Link, this rezoning that was held over a cycle in your district, so I'll ask you to make a motion.
Yeah, I'll move to approve the CDO.
I'll second it.
All right, got a motion from Commissioner Link, second from Commissioner Thornton. Go ahead, Commissioner Link.
Yeah, I think Mr. Hicks kind of summed it up. My concerns were, this is a commercially zoned acre lot, which, on a residential street, which is effectively a quiet, single-family neighborhood, although the neighborhood is zoned RM2. I met with the developer, I met with Mr. Hicks, and the CDO effectively puts RS5 building standards onto the rezone to assure that anything that is built on the property is effectively in the scale of the surrounding modest single-family homes that have been there and have been there for decades.
Thanks, Commissioner Link. Any follow-up, Commissioner Thornton?
No, I do appreciate the CDO. I actually drove down Hawthorne Extension, and I reached out to Commissioner Link when I saw the rezone sign, because I'm paying attention to rezone signs now, and she was already ahead of the game as far as making some changes, and that's what her CDO does.
Any further input? With a motion and a second on the floor, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, item 16 is another zoning action for commercial short-term rental on Marlin Street, held over a cycle. And Commissioner Thornton, this is in your district, so I'll ask you to make a motion.
Mr. Mayor?
I'm making.
Oh, yeah, I'll have
Oh,
Attorney
sorry.
Drake read the ordinance. I apologize.
An ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia with respect to special use approval in the RM-1 Mixed Density Residential District for one parcel of land located at 159 Marlin Street and for other purposes.
Thanks, appreciate it, Attorney Drake. Commissioner Thornton.
I'm making a motion to accept this proposal on number 16.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, I've got a second from Commissioner Myers. All right, Commissioner Thornton, any further remarks? I know we've talked about this last cycle.
Yes, and since the last cycle, I want to thank staff for sharing with each of us the number of CTRs in our district. I think that is probably helpful for the past when we were going through all the CT, but we are going to be looking forward to staff recommendations in a couple of months. So having this in front of us may help us be more objective. I could understand why some district commissioners are have issues, because I only have like 42, and other districts may have over 100. So I do hope that staff takes that in consideration with their recommendations upcoming. I'm just going to reiterate about the CTR request on Marlin Street. I don't think any time, and I know it happens, but I don't think anyone who has come before us or that we've listened to talked about creating jobs with their STR. And Mr. Killgo is going to be using local folks to maintain his homes. I assume every CTR probably does that, but I think it is noteworthy that he brings this out without even asking. Marlin Street is a dead-end street, but and if you remember the diagrams that he sent us, the first 3 houses are abandoned and dilapidated. Because college students' housing surrounds Marlin Street, during the day when folk in other communities that have STRs are worried about parking, college students park all down that street where those dilapidated houses are. So parking is not going to be an issue. Matter of fact, Mr. Kilgore's driveway will host up to 4 cars, and he's going to put signage that you're not supposed to just block the area. The other thing I thought was interesting, and I guess that was Mr. Killgo bumping into Ms. Shamika at Home Depot, was it, or whatever. He's done all the repairs and the renovations himself with his wife as his personal decorator. If you go into his house, there's a room for kids, so this is not going to be, there's a room for small children, so this is not going to be a party house per se. The other thing that
Commissioner Thornton, did you have anything else?
Yeah, one more thing. Can I have a moment? Because this is the most important.
Okay for a minute.
Yes.
The most important thing is, and I think it should be in consideration with all STRs, is what the residents say. You know, if the residents are going to, and he's not just, just the interaction, you know, it's not just because he wants their support. They're neighbors. They're talking about the grass and exchanging stuff. They have a relationship. So I've never seen that since I've been here. I think he wants to be a part of the community, and I think his STR will help build that community up. Like I said, when you come down, beautiful homes, but you got to get down to them. So I think his STR will beautify the neighborhood.
Recognize Commissioner Myers as seconder and Commissioner Hamby.
Yeah, I'm supporting this because I'm supporting the ordinance that we have in place right now. I look forward to the update that we put in down the line. I do, want us to consider all the variables as Commissioner Thornton is doing, but in terms of equitably moving through, I know there are some people who've been running short-term rentals in RM zones who are wary of coming before us now to ask for permission because we've denied other ones, not knowing where they're going to make the right presentation or talk about the right things. So I think it is incumbent upon us to make it clearer what our rules and regulations are about short-term rentals in RM districts.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Hamby.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. And I'd just like to, say this, certainly certain commission districts have more than others, but y'all, it's really not about the numbers at the end of the day. What it's about is us, just recognizing that we need to not approve new ones and see what we can do to lessen the ones that are here in a fair and equitable way. I mean, every time we approve a new STR, this body takes a house off the market that could be for somebody that needs a house who lives in our community, and an affordable house who lives in our community. So just think about that as we did this, and as we do this. I know staff is looking at some changes to be made to licensing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we need to go ahead and approve this special use. It's a special use. It's a special use for a reason. I mean, and these special uses are having an effect on our community, and any new ones, I think we ought to just say no to, and make sure that we're helping with the affordability and helping with the housing stock in our community. Thank you.
Commissioner Fisher.
Yeah, ma'am, I'll be recusing myself from this vote.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Link.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about this, but like Commissioner Myers, I feel like we have this process laid out. I'm really looking forward to the Planning Commission coming up with some clear criteria so, we can understand where these are appropriate and where they're not, and hopefully, amend this process so we don't necessarily have to vote on all of these. Because I feel like it's not a terrible thing to have these scattered throughout neighborhoods here and there. I've had family come to visit who stayed in an STR near my house, but to have them completely overwhelm our neighborhoods is not a good thing, and to have them take so many homes off the market is not a good thing, and to have them be so concentrated in certain areas is not as well. I did spend some time in this neighborhood, and I recognize the conditions on the ground. I hope as we move forward with the future land use process and some new zoning criteria and conditions, we can kind of bring some of these neighborhoods back.
All right, we'll go ahead and go around the room, beginning with the motioner, Commissioner Thornton.
Yes.
No.
Davenport?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
Taylor?
No.
Wright?
Abstain?
Johnson?
Yes.
Culpepper?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
6 yes, 2 no.
All right, thank you. All right, motion carries. All right, we're going to move on to item number 16, or excuse me, that was 16. We're moving on to item 17. With item 17, would somebody like to begin by placing a motion on the floor?
Motion to hold.
Second.
Got a motion from Commissioner Davenport to hold, and second from Commissioner Myers. All right, Commissioner Davenport, any remarks, or would you like to save this for next month?
Before I make a remark, I want Chad to, because he's giving me a look.
Well, I know we had this option to purchase agreement, so we may need a vote to not exercise it. But when does the option expire?
It expires 10.
So we won't meet again. Today's the second. Do we meet next?
And so would an appropriate motion, just to go ahead and kind
So
of cover
we-
the procedural grounds, be to hold and ask staff to extend the option?
Yes.
And I would say, and if we're unable to get an extension on option, that would be a motion to not approve the option to purchase, to deny it.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying, Mr. Mayor? We don't want to not give proper notice on that contract and we got to make sure we've.
So the motion would be So the motion would be to hold, ask staff to extend the option, and should the option not be extended, to
That
kind
would
of.
constitute a denial.
That would
denial
constitute a
of
de
the
facto
option
denial.
purchase.
So hold till the next meeting.
With all, no, it's
With the
important to say all
provisos,
that.
with the provisos that I indicated.
So it's,
Okay. Hold to the next meeting with the option of the staff reaching out to extend the purchase agreement,
Option agreement.
option agreement.
And if we're unable to obtain that extension, then that is, the commission denies the
Yeah.
option of purchase.
Okay, so move.
Yes.
second.
Second,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
All right.
Any remarks, Commissioner Davenport?
This has been very stressful. I know I've been beat up in the community. I'm not against the fire station to be relocated. And I do not want to put our community in danger. And yes, we finally reached some money. You know, this was a SPLOST. We finally reached some money to actually fund this project. And that happened about 2.5 years ago. Last year, this body denied eminent domain, and immediately we extended an offer. And in the last 6 months, we've been discussing, well, not we've been discussing, but staff has been discussing this particular property. So it's not that we are wasting people's time or we're kicking this guy down the road. This property in question relatively came to us, literally to the public, about 2 months ago. But my thing is, if everybody look at page 373 and look at the maps, and it has been stated that we want to provide, that's 373 in the PDF agenda, and I'm gonna need more than 3 minutes, but y'all bear with me. If you look at the fire stations, and if the question is that we need to provide more average coverage, and if you look at that map, you'll notice that even with fire station number 5 in that, the circle, there are a lot of gaps. It has been stated that fire station number 6 will be moved, and there's potential for other fire stations to be moved as well. I would like for staff, and it's not that I'm against staff or against what they're saying, but I just have some questions. I would like for staff to look at it. If we're planning on moving other fire stations in the future, how about we do it, the master plan, and look at it holistically, look at all of them, instead of doing it piecemeal. But personally, as a representative, I do not want to put my community or anyone in danger. My mom and some of my neighbors have had to call the fire department for response times because of medical emergency. So I do believe that it needs to be relocated. But at the same time, I value people's quality of life. And that's something that I ran on in 2019, something I ran on in 2022 as well, that people buy into the east side, they buy into this livelihood. And I think that should be taken into consideration. But also I want to be a good neighbor as well. And I hope that we, as all of us, will be good neighbors. And I understand that these people have a quality of life that they would like to maintain. And even with this recent, and I'm all over the place, sorry. Even with the recent study that just came out, I have questions about the IAFF new study. It's hard for me to believe that the discussion of moving 5 was on the chiefs and the fire department's mind.
Everybody okay with additional time for Commissioner Davenport?
Yes.
Was an interesting topic or a hot topic to talk about, but it was not included in this study. You would think that people would have mentioned that, hey, number 5 would be moved, but it was not included in the study. But I do look forward into seeing the new IAFF response. But one of my main thing is the price of the property. We're paying boulevard and millage, that area for the price of this property. It's good for the homeowner, but it's not good for the taxpayer. And we're paying way too much for that piece of property. And there are other locations that are way much cheaper. They can save the taxpayer money and that will provide a much better coverage. And, just please have sympathy for these residents and understand their quality of life. A property is a property. People raise their kids, they do gardens, they put in pools, they add extensions, and it just, I want to be good neighbors to these individuals. At the same time, I just would like for the fire department to get it right. Not saying that they got it wrong, just saying that if we look at a master plan holistically of the other fire stations that are planning to be moved, let's do it all together instead of piecemeal.
Commissioner Myers, any remarks as seconder, and then I'll move to Commissioner
Yeah,
Hamby.
yeah, I do. I do, just for the record here, it was 5 months ago that we authorized staff to proceed with sending the 3 candidate site property owners an option to buy. So it's been a little while here at our end. And of course, this site selection started 3 years ago. I'd like to request that in this hold, before it comes back, that our new manager present the commission with background material and analysis on the following. The assessment process for determining the offered price of $487,000. We did review that a little bit, but I think obviously we don't have all the details there. It is under the budget allowance that was in the budget for site selection. The effect that this government property assessed at that kind of price would have on surrounding properties in terms of taxes. The recent International Association of Firefighters report to our firefighters union and their analysis concerning the firehouse placement and any new analysis that comes forth. And most importantly, an updated statement from the fire chief concerning the location of the firehouse and the reasons behind it. Old Lexington Road, this is me on the side, Old Lexington Road was in the original search area. The circle centered around that intersection of Old Lexington and Morton. I've seen this like dozens of times at this time. My understanding, though, is that the main reason for the firehouse location in that circle is to include the additional 800 Athenians in the southeast portion of the county and give them the best response time for the emergency. That's what the fire chief was saying. He was asked time and again during that site selection process by the committee, by the commission, about relocating to Morton Road and Lexington Road. He always was adamant that the other locations would not be addressing the needs of the better service. So these are questions that are asking them. I've served on that site selection. I've heard it much more than obviously everyone here, but I want to hear one more time from our professional staff on our emergency services, which I'm clearly not an expert on, and also from our new county manager who's coming to this fresh. And that would make me more confident in how I move forward and forth, and hopefully make my colleagues more confident that they have all the details.
Commissioner Hamby.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. I guess I'm just wondering, and Commissioner Myers may have just laid some out, but all that information that was just laid out, we've heard before. So I'm just wondering, why put folks who are against this through another 30 days of just waiting around? I'm trying to figure out what the rationale is for a hold.
So my rationale for a hold is that a new IAFF study was presented to the fire department from the union, and they had stated, hopefully I'm articulating this well, but they had stated that that fire stations need to be where the density and the needs are. But according to staff, they were saying that they did not mention the fact that fire station number 5 was going to be, was not included in that study. So I will feel confident, and I believe my constituent will feel more confident once I'm hoping IAFF updates their study and bring back with their recommendation, that people will have a better understanding of what the union is requesting.
Okay.
Commissioner Thorne.
So the information that, so we'll have the information needed within the 30 days. That's what I'm trying to, do you think?
That's a good question.
And I don't know the answer to that particular item because we didn't commission that study. That was a study that was commissioned by the union, and it was a different question, as you heard earlier, that was being asked. So we will certainly follow up with them and see if that's possible. I know they did attempt to get it updated even before this meeting, and we're not able to do so, but we'll certainly follow up and determine, because that's the request, is to get that information.
Right, yeah, and to hear from the fire chief on it. I mean, I don't know anything about the IAFF before I heard about this 3 days ago. I mean, so I have credibility with the fire chief, so I want to hear, and I'm willing to hear more, but I would like to hear the fire chief's insight on this as well.
And the other pieces we absolutely will have within the timeframe we're talking about. So the process that was used to determine the price, as well as obviously the statement coming from the fire chief and his application of those very same standards that we're talking about. The piece that's kind of out of our control a little bit is what the Union Commission, and we'll just follow up with them and get that as soon as we can. So.
All right, motion and a second to hold with the provisos that Attorney Drake provided. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, we're going to move on to item 18, which is property acquisition as part of the Beech Haven Park.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, got a motion from Commissioner Hamby, second from Commissioner Link. Commissioner Hamby, any remarks?
No, I'm curious what Commissioner Fisher has to say about it, so.
Commissioner Link.
No, I'm eager to see this move forward.
Commissioner Fisher.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Hamby and
Sure,
Commissioner
sorry.
Link, for doing. First of all, let me thank the staff, Alex Bond and Ilko McConnell for taking me on a hike of that property. That's a lot of property there, and I want to commend them for.
Get some exercise out there.
Yeah, get some exercise out there. I had the wrong type of shoes on. I should have had on my hiking boots, but I think to my colleagues, it's a really good project. I think we need to go ahead and move forward with this particular purchase, and so we connect that Beech Haven to Ben Burton Park. They have that trail there, so I think it's a good piece of property for us to get. And also, we'll be able to house our leisure services department there, and they can be there, and people can be on those trails. So thank you guys for taking me on that hike. Appreciate it. But I did owe my colleagues and supporting this wholeheartedly.
Anyone else before I return to Commissioner Hamby?
Yeah, something just came to mind as I pass it often is out in Watkinsville, and I can see this becoming something like this out going towards Watkinsville on Simonton Bridge Road. They've got this new Thomas Farms Park, and they've done some really, really good work on that park. You got it done really quickly too.
Yeah.
Nice wide sidewalks done quickly. I can see this turning into some really nice amenity for our community.
It's definitely a great model for the region. I agree.
Yeah.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. Thanks, everybody. 19 is the project concepts for the TSPLOST 2023, Project 26, which is the pedestrian improvements in West Hancock and West Broad neighborhoods.
Yeah, I'm going to move that we hold this for one cycle. I've got a neighborhood meeting next Tuesday at Rock Springs Pavilion. It's Christine Howard Park Pavilion. I'm going to get some of the folks from the neighborhoods there to take a look at these proposals. I suspect we might want to reprioritize some of them, but I'll probably come back with a CDO when this shows back up on the agenda.
Motion from Commissioner Link to hold for one cycle. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, second from Commissioner Thornton. Any further remarks from anyone?
No. I mean, not for me. Sorry.
All in favor of hold for one cycle, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, 20 is the Downtown Development Authority Community Events Program funding request for FY26. I'll entertain a motion from the body.
So move.
Second.
All right, got a motion from Commissioner Hamby and second from Commissioner Thornton. Commissioner Hamby, any remarks?
No, sir.
Commissioner Thornton?
No, sir.
Any others? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right, 21 is the Hawthorne and Oglethorpe Intersection Improvement Project. Entertain a motion.
Mayor, can I want to put a motion to hold this also.
All right, for a single cycle?
Yes.
All right, hold for one cycle from Commissioner Fisher. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, got a second from Commissioner Taylor. All right, any further remarks?
Yes, sir. I have so just for the public knowledge, we got two parcels that still are pending. We're trying to get approval for now. What we're gonna be able to do with those. I guess we got offers out there and we have not heard back. My biggest concern is for the Sitco on the corner there. It's a small piece of property. Again, I want to talk to the owner because I really want to get some feedback. So I got a call in. My colleague, Commissioner Danpoy, has gone by there also to to meet with him, but I'm hoping he's gonna call me. And I hope he's not thinking I'm calling to put pressure on him. I wanna just get some feedback from him and get a feeling, but we're talking about taking a pretty big chunk of his property. And, I feel some way about that when we look at businesses, especially small businesses, we're taking up their property and how it's gonna impact. So if we can hold this for one cycle, I appreciate it. Hopefully he'll reach out. I know we're still dealing with CVS on the corporate level. They got a larger footprint. They may not impact them as much. But again, I'm not sure, they may play hardball with us because they are a corporate entity. So we have to consider those two options. But I do want to talk to the owner of that gas station.
All right. Anyone else? All in favor of the one cycle hold, please say.
Hold on.
I share the same sentiments as Commissioner Fisher. To do eminent domain is one thing. If it's going to be beneficial to the owner in a way about traffic being able to flow in and out, that you're not worried about getting hit, turning left and going straight down. I don't know the street anyway. And so, yeah, I support the whole.
And one other thing, and let me say this just for the public, we do need to do some traffic calming, ain't no question about it. So I'm not against what we're trying to do, but again, I have concern about small business zones when we're talking about doing eminent domain. So I'd like to have that conversation, and hopefully I have an opportunity to meet with him and talk with him.
Commissioner Davenport.
Yeah, just real quick, just ditto Commissioner Fisher. We just want to make sure we do our due diligence and making sure that these property owners, they are aware. We just want to, just have that conversation and putting it on hold for one cycle. It's not going to do any harm, but just want to just have a sit down and talk to these, especially the gas station. Sit down and talk to them and tell them why it's important that we want to do this, because it's the Hawthorne Oglethorpe has, I think it's one of the deadliest intersections in Athens, or if not one of the top. But we want to express the concern to them as to why we want to have them in a partnership and an agreement that this is necessary for just not for our community, but visitors who visit that area.
All right, there's a motion and a second on the floor to hold this for one cycle. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, we'll see this again next month. 22, as we discussed last month at the work session, is the ARPA funding recapture and reallocation for those two projects that are no longer viable.
There's an ordinance with this, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Attorney Drake.
An ordinance to amend the American Rescue Plan Act ARPA program budget so as to provide additional funding for the Center for Racial Justice and Black Futures and for affordable housing and for other purposes.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion from Commissioner Hamby. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, got a second from Commissioner Myers. Commissioner Hamby, any further remarks?
Nope.
Commissioner Myers? Any others? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, could I get a motion for suspension of rules because we have an item of new business?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Hamby, second from Commissioner Taylor. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are now working under suspension of rules. Item number 23 is a bond that we've got to do every time we get a new manager, and we've had to do this a few times, and we're not going to have to do it again. I'm just saying it that way. That's the way it's going to be. And so, so that Manager Cowell can actually execute the documents that are associated with the bonds, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
So moved, and I'm
Second.
sure Judd's going to be real happy about this, get his name off.
Oh, yeah.
Item, I've got Commissioner Hamby and Commissioner Wright. And this is just a resolution, no ordinance. All right, any remarks? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 24, which we added to the agenda right at the beginning of our time together, is the latest of a series of opioid litigation settlement resolutions. These are being collected through a federal court in Ohio, and so just as the courts kind of move through the series of engagements with the different opioid distributors and manufacturers, we'll see a series of these. So I'll entertain a motion for approval of this one.
So moved.
Second.
All right, got a motion from Commissioner Hamby, second from Commissioner Link. Any remarks, anyone? Commissioner Lake?
Just a little Scrivener's error in that first paragraph with the all caps letters, the second to last line. The word settlement,
Yeah.
I believe, should be settlement.
Yep, thank you. We'll note that, make that correction.
I hope Andy Harrod is
Appreciate
watching
everybody's editing skill.
I hope Andy Harrod's watching this meeting. You would make him very proud.
All right, anyone else? All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. Now is the time, my friends, for that great opportunity for general public input on any item that was not on tonight's agenda. So now is that time, members of the public in the audience, all three of you remaining, that if you would like to speak to us about any item that was not on tonight's agenda, you have that opportunity. And so, I see stepping up to the mic, good to see Mr. Coleman.
It's been a long way. My name is Manny Coleman. I live at 71 Rose Drive. I had made a proposal to a few my friends and in the community. Since Athens-Clarke County as a body has divorced itself, I would recommend that all commissioners, if it's possible, serve a full-time term instead of part-time. And the reason for that is because we need to learn to come together as a unified government. And as you can tell, tonight it wasn't a unified government. We're still bigger and fussing of what's going on. In a way to put a marriage together and keep a family together, you put them in a situation where they have to work together. So a full-time job would help us, I believe. And I also would like to announce to you all publicly, I am running for District 7 district. That's my twin sitting over there, Mr. Culpepper. I thank the world of him, and I do him right. Y'all have a nice night.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. All right, is there any other member of the public who'd like to speak to us this evening on any item that was not on the agenda? All right, so all business being concluded, I do want to thank the scouts who have adopted Moss Drive for the Adopt a Highway proclamation. And I have one committee assignment to announce tonight. I sent this via email to commissioners and staff earlier, and I've had a good conversation with the attorney about expediting this. We had a good retreat this summer in the Downtown Development Authority, and it was clear by talking to folks in the prosecutorial world and the public safety world that there's not absolute clarity around acceptable use of public rights-of-ways given the current ordinance language. And so I appreciate that the current standing committee chairs, Commissioners Davenport, Fisher, and Myers, have agreed to take on this very quick and brief task. And that is to work with the Athens-Clarke County Attorney and the Manager to bring forward to the full Mayor and Commission no later than our November voting meeting ordinance language updates clarifying the definition of public rights-of-way and allowable uses thereof in a manner that provides common understanding for both staff and the public about that definition, such that the entire breadth of public right-of-way is considered, meaning vehicular lanes, sidewalks, and bike lanes are all considered for their appropriate uses. That the danger of laying upon or sitting upon the right-of-way is reduced or eliminated for the public safety of pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists alike. Similarly, that debris and material storage upon public rights-of-way is reduced or eliminated. That First Amendment rights and operations of our special events that are permitted are considered, and that any related operational and fiscal needs are considered in the recommendation that returns to us. I think this will mean we've got safer rights-of-way and cleaner ones as well. So appreciate y'all taking on that task. I think in a couple meetings with particularly Attorney Drake's assistance and that of staff, we'll be able to knock this out, and we'll see a recommendation for a vote in November. So, that said, I want to turn to charter officers and ask anything from the manager tonight.
Nothing from me, thank you.
Anything from the auditor?
Not tonight.
Attorney Drake?
Yes, I'm pleased to announce that Austin Jackson has been selected as a new Deputy Chief Attorney for the Unified Government of Athens-Clarke County.
Great to see good folks who could put in a lot of time, be able to move up. So that's very exciting, Attorney Drake. I appreciate that. All right, and I'll move to commissioners. We'll begin with Commissioner Johnson, and we'll end with Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you. I just want to thank the Chamber for inviting me on a trip to Gainesville, Florida to learn about how their college town does workforce development well in different areas that are very similar to Athens. So I wanted to thank the chamber and the chair and the individuals that put their time and effort into planning that trip. Also want to thank the residents of the Stonehenge neighborhood for completing the survey. I only had one day to go out and canvass and pass out flyers with the QR code, but everyone that I came upon actually completed the survey right in front of me. So I just wanted to say thank you. I hope it means something. And I just want to thank the residents that send me recommendations to follow up on things. That's what I'm here for. And I have my newsletter. It's a little late, but it'll be coming out either tonight or first thing in the morning. That's all.
Thanks, Commissioner.
I want to thank Bob for what he's done so far. You're doing a fabulous job. Thank you for the quick response. Friday night, my daughter's a student at the University of Georgia. She got the text and the phone call from the university, and I texted you, and you communicated to us immediately, and I appreciate that. I hope that these hoaxes stop, because God forbid there be a serious situation if people not believe it. But thank you for that.
Also, I'm appreciative of that chamber trip. It's always good to be with colleagues, both from City Hall and across the community, and to learn about another community. And I look forward to our retreat as a commission coming up in 2 weeks or so. So more good bonding and discussion.
I also enjoyed the trip. I learned a lot. I loved the fellowship. I do hope during the retreat we can share some of the things that we learned in Florida. I also want to thank Bob. I mean, you're quick. You are like super quick. You Superman in a suit. Yeah, I just want to thank you. Follow up. You give me objective information, so I appreciate that. And my last shout out would be to our the reorganizing of the GET committee. I think we are really going to put a dent into, or a scratch into, the housing situation. And so opening it up to the community folk has been valuable. And thank you to, yes, you. You didn't think I was going to thank you too? Yeah, thank you too for what you're doing with the mill houses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have much. I guess I am looking forward to whatever retreat we're going on. I will say I'm not getting on any bus with any of y'all, so I apologize up front. I'm just joking. I'm not joking about the bus. So, thanks, Mayor. I know y'all understand. Y'all don't want me on that bus.
Commissioner Davenport.
I have nothing.
Yeah, I want to thank Bob for our little meeting, and I'm looking forward to working with you and a lot of progress. I think we see eye to eye on a lot of things, so I'm really looking forward to getting some things done, especially as the future land use plan moves forward. Also, I just want to let my constituents in the West Hancock and Rock Springs, West Broad neighborhoods know that there will be a neighborhood meeting to discuss those pedestrian traffic calming project proposals that we'll be voting on next month. So I'll be putting a flyer out, and I want to encourage everyone to share it. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. Bob, what everybody else said. I want to address something, because my cell phone is blowing up, and so is the live. And so I know it's about what we voted on as far as Rashi goes. And I want it to be very clear. My vote, my leadership, when it comes to District 3, I do it with my whole heart. I don't do it to fit in. I don't do it to appease people, because for me, I sit in this seat as a resident. I help people with eviction prevention. I help people with groceries. I help people wait on the ambulance. When there's a house fire, I'm at that house fire. If I'm invited to come somewhere, I go there, not because I sit in this seat, but because as a leader, that's what you're supposed to do. It's all fine and well to get up and to address the things that don't happen, or to say a certain person, because I have a stance on wanting to make East Athens better for the youth and my children, opposed to being 25 years later and the building still looking the same. That doesn't make me a sellout. It doesn't mean that I'm not who I was raised to be. I'm my ancestors' wildest dream. For my grandma to be born here in 1912 and for me to sit here as a representative and she still own land in that community, I hate the fact that I have to use my remarks to address this, but because I came from where I came from and because certain people feel like they have a say-so in me sitting in this seat, let's be clear. I sit here for the people that people walk by, for the people who people don't take a second look at, people who get looked down on, black, white, it doesn't matter. That's why I sit here. And you know, no shade to anybody, because politics are politics. But I don't deal in politics. I deal in real life, because in East Athens, inner East Athens, life is happening all the time. And whether it makes the news, whether it makes social media or not, that doesn't stop it from happening, and it doesn't stop Commissioner Taylor from showing up. No, I don't get the accolades, and I don't do it for the accolades. I do it so that my children know that their mama had a say-so in the edification of a community that she was born and raised in and is leading to the best of her ability. I yield my time.
Well, it's well said. I really, what I have to say is pales in comparison there, but thank you, Tiffany. While you guys were in Gainesville, Florida, I was at a conference in Gainesville, Georgia, the Georgia Downtown Association. They're part under GMA, and I learned a lot, and I know where the ice cream shop is, so just let me know when we get up there for the retreat. The short walk to the ice cream.
How about a bar?
I didn't see any of those, Mike.
She's been on the scooter.
Finish with Commissioner Fisher, who is going to make
All
a
right,
motion
yeah,
at the end
we're
of the
closing this bad boy out. And again, I want to thank Bob and our staff for what all you all do for us. And I enjoyed the trip also to Gainesville, Florida. It's good to go to other communities that have universities, and knowing that they deal with some of the same issues that we're dealing here right here in Athens-Clarke County. So, you know, and bounce ideas off each other. So my hats off to the people in Gainesville, Florida, for being great hosts and really being kind to us while we was there. I do want to say to the residents of District 5, this Thursday at the Planning Committee, Homewood Village Shopping Center will be on the agenda. Hope everybody come out. We've done our due diligence. We met with the developer. We had town hall meetings. So now the developer will be presenting their plans. So I hope the residents in District 5 come out on this Thursday to the Planning Committee, Planning Commission meeting to hear the developers put their project forward to the community. So with that said, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
And we out of
We
here.
have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, at 9:15, everybody have a good night.
Good meeting, guys. Good meeting.